Allora, diamo un'ultima occhiata al nostro caro primo salvataggio. Giocato il 25/10, quindi nemmeno un mese fa, però con un po' di giorni di un bel po' di differenza. Una partita e si riva. Stavolta giocheremo nella modalità storia perché ci goderemo il finale cattivo. L'ultimo, che sarà il finale buono, lo giocheremo in modalità normale e forse, per conto mio, o comunque forse in live, porterò una run in modalità difficile per vedere fin dove arrivo, cosa che forse non riuscirò a fare. Comunque andiamo. Perché adesso sto giocando in modalità facile? Per facilitare anche la run più facile che farò. È quello lì il punto. Il good ending infine lo farò in modalità normale. E questa qui avrà come unico obiettivo quello di far casino il più tardi possibile, però farne parecchio. E intendo di casino a livello di scendere.
8 voracious beasts born from 8 restless nights. 4 nails piercing the flesh of the sinner. 1 prayer for the summoned, called by this song. 'Tis perhaps the countdown to oblivion for the once proud city of London. 'Tis perchance her inhabitants' last dance alone to face death and pestilence. Confronted by the eerie and unknown, mortals became desperate for answers. A flock's flight makes for an omen, the falling of a star a dire presage. Turning to priests for interpretation when there was no reason to be found. When religion failed, men turned to science. I saw them build such vain cities, crafting machines made for endless war. New questions flourished as old answers withered. What is darkness but lurking sun? What is wall but enslaved stone? What is glass but tortured sand? What is song but a call to arms? What is hate but jilted love? What is life but death pending?
Sono tutti buggati i commenti, non ve li vedo più. Meraviglioso.
Death.
Ok, perfetto. Sarebbe meglio su WhatsApp, sinceramente, però per ora possiamo anche provare da YouTube.
A righteous snare to keep mankind from ascending to the stars. They were all so wrong. Death is not a wicked thing, nor some holy retribution. A true punishment would be to never know its sweet.
Intanto vi ricordo qual è l'ultimo commento che leggo, allora. Questo è l'ultimo commento, ok.
And be born once more.
Vabbè. Questa qui è la musica di quando abbracciamo, perfetto. Adesso abbiamo la sicurezza. Ah, odio vedere sta scena, mannaggia. Mary. Mary.
So thirsty.
Mary. Mary.
My sweet brother. What have you done?
Mary! Oh, no! Mary! Hold on! Please, hold on! Oh, God. Mary. Mary. No. No. This horror. It's a nightmare. No! Please! A moment, let me explain!
Ok.
These patrols are after me. No! No! Don't shoot! This is a nightmare. I need to get out of here.
Non ho stamina infinita in questo momento. Non è vero.
This can't be happening.
There's one of those vermin.
No! Please! Stop! I mean you no harm. What's going on? Oh, Mary. What have I done? What's all this about?
Shit, where'd it go?
Now, I can defend myself.
Tricky bastard.
Abbiamo ancora la schivata.
Who are you? Stay back! Sorry, but you left me no choice.
Oh.
Who are you? Stupid beast! Sorry.
Ma che c'ha? Perché intanto mi fa sto attacco in più? Boh.
No, please, stop!
That's what you say.
Who are you?
There's one of them vermin.
What do you want? I mean you no harm. I need help.
Die, you fucking leech.
Please, listen to me. I can't make any sense of this.
Shut up, beast.
Who are you? What is this all about? What in God's
That'll do the rest of the job.
Just leave me.
Non è molto bella questa.
The sun. It feels like it's burning me to the bone. I need to find somewhere to hide. Let me go! I need to find shelter.
Non c'è molto da commentare in questa parte.
Is anybody there? What is this place?
place seems abandoned. I should be safe enough here.
What have you done?
Mary! Mary! Mary, I'm sorry. Whoever did this to us, I will find them.
Beh, io sarei interessato, però ovviamente non posso essere presente. Scellini, sole e fiamme. Onesto.
Wait. This one's dressed up fancy. Let's run through his pockets.
Picking the dead's pockets? Are you serious?
I've still a rent to pay. He's got no more responsibilities. What's this? Gold watch.
Beautiful it is. We fancy it and share the takings. I suppose we are undertakers. Now, give him an Eve.
Questa cosa. Vabbè.
That's impossible.
Specchio ruoto.
Who goes there? Who's there? Are you referring to me? No! No! I still have so much to accomplish. I still have so much left that needs doing.
Altri scellini. Ah, comunque farò le run giusto per fare i trofei in pratica.
We need to leave. And now.
Sicuramente l'idea è quella.
There's time. I can save him.
That's the enemy coming. The orders are to evacuate the hospital.
Done. He'll live. And now what? We fight. Killing is a hell of a lot easier than healing. No, it never got easy.
L'evolver usato. Dettagli. Tanto non lo useremo. Mega spoiler. Noi vediamo a proposito, adesso che abbiamo. Questo deve essere il Pembroke Hospital, ok. Vabbè. Facciamo un riposino.
This makes no sense. None of it. No sense at all. It's a nightmare. That's it. So be it. Rational thinking only.
Spoiler, abbiamo già provato a non spararci. Non si può fare. Vampyr. Che musica, signori!
This is absolute madness. I've lost touch with the real.
As it is, as mad as the moon, contains blood in sunlight into a glowing flesh.
Evoluzione. Ah, ci possiamo permettere anche un'abilità. Ok.
That voice in my head. If I'm not mad, then it must belong to the one who made me what I am. I must find him to understand what I have become. These people want me dead. I need to leave now.
You can do magic.
Here!
You can do everything that you desire. Mannaggia.
My head's spinning.
Faremo con molta più velocità.
I cannot enter.
I cannot enter. Cos'è stato? Un paletto. Ok, abbiamo già l'equipaggiamento, quindi. Sì. Chiave del rifugio. No.
It's locked. I'm still in Southwark.
Qui dove si
I must reach the
prendeva.
West End.
Over there! There's one of them!
Die, vermin!
Oh, esatto.
There's a strength I never knew I had.
Watch out!
Nelle mo.
This shouldn't be possible. Every sinew, every fiber of my being is afire.
Ma non è.
My strength, my reflexes. I'm not human anymore.
Param. Adesso la run verrà fatta molto più tranquilla, molto più lenta, soprattutto in parte in cui io giocherò senza fare la live, perché...
If only I had controlled my need for blood.
Vabbè. Blocchiamo tutte le
Mary,
zone e in quel
someone will
momento
pay for
io
what happened to you.
metterò a farmare
For what
tutti i
happened to
trofei.
us.
È quello lì che farò.
The dizziness from the jump.
Abbiamo ripreso? Già di nuovo? Così?
Now controlled.
Ho già il senso di vampiro, perfetto. Facciamoci una scorta.
This is despicable.
This is despicable. Quanto è perfetto sto inglese, un po' più.
I have this thirst for what will London have to say to me?
Sciallini.
I've so many questions unanswered. Another corpse. Have the very streets of London become a mausoleum?
Questa è morta in modo strano, però. Esatto, sono saporiti, va, che si mangiano,
The man has been drained of all blood, but I can still smell the scent of it. I follow the scent's trail. Perhaps it will lead me to
Quando
my
hai incontrato per la prima
assailant.
volta Swansea e Elizabeth?
Fresh blood. Where has everyone gone?
Basta averlo sbloccato.
At last, a little life. Whoever he may be,
Secondari.
the killer recently...
Hello, sir. Are you all right? Is there any way I can help you?
I don't know. Maybe you could just talk to me.
Maybe you prefer to speak with Tom, then. He's more agreeable talking to strangers.
I just want to talk. I didn't mean to scare you.
I'm not afraid, sir. It's just I've other customers to take care of.
Ma il
I
locale
only
è quasi
see
più.
one customer.
Oh. Well, yeah, of course. I mean, I best check on them.
What's going on around here? Where is everyone?
Too many dead, sir. First the epidemic, now all these terrible murders.
Mi ha pagato I commenti, come?
The murders. What can you say about them?
Bodies found in the streets every morning. Drained of blood. It's just horrible. Some say the sewer dog is back.
The sewer dog? What's that?
No one knows. People have always disappeared around these parts. The ancients say it's the sewer dog coming out to
Strano.
feed. But now he's killing in the streets.
What have you heard about the epidemic?
There's a Spanish flu. Yeah. Killed so many last summer. Thought we'd seen the last of it. Dozens dying every week.
Are the authorities doing anything?
Nothing. There are so many quarantine zones in
Non mi piace
London
questa
now.
cosa che
It's
YouTube
gotten really hard
censura.
to travel across town.
What is this place?
This is Tom's bar, a turquoise turtle. I'm the barmaid here, Sabrina, if you want to know.
Wow.
You don't seem to have much business. Where is everybody?
Well, most people are sleeping right now. And those that are awake tend to avoid going out. What with the murders and all.
Are you always open this late at night?
No, it's only since the epidemic started. Tom thought that people may need a safe place to stay.
Hai ragione.
I'll leave then. Thank you. Good evening, sir. I wondered if I could ask for your help.
Wow, you look like you need a drink.
Yes. I apologize for my outfit. It's been a long night.
Been there, seen that. Don't worry, things can only get worse.
What's going on around here? It's like everybody is hiding.
You must be new here. Have you not heard about the murders? Everybody fears the return of the sewer dogs.
Ma che è sto?
You make it sound like it's a
Ma ricordo
fairy tale.
veramente, raga.
People will always believe in monsters. It's easier than accepting their own darkness. We can all be monsters.
Così per curiosità. Sì, ma non censura questo, che cazzo, dai.
It's a local
Posso scrivere Nibba.
Convenient
Porca
answer
troia.
for every crime that happened for decades. You murdered someone, blame the sewer dog, eh?
Has anybody entered the bar recently?
Can't say. Sorry. I spent the night making
Devo
love
anche
to that
scrivere
gorgeous
sul
bowl.
gruppo WhatsApp.
This
nel
is
caso.
important, sir. Are you sure no one has come in here in the last few hours?
I don't know and I don't care. This is a free country. People still have the right to come and go, don't they?
I'll leave you to your bottle then.
Sti ficchi nel culo, brutto ricchio.
My God, sir, you look like Jonah's whale just spat you out of hell. Can I get you a drink?
No, thank you. I'm not thirsty.
Well, grab a chair and get some rest. This is going to be another long night.
Where am I? Where is this
Porca
place?
troia.
You're at my bar, sir, the Turquoise Turtle. The last ray of light in this dangerous part of town.
So you're open all night?
Yep. Figured people might need a place to rest in these dark times.
Onesto.
Aren't you scared?
Scared of what? All the bad shit happens out on the foggy streets. And I never go outside.
Onestissimo.
Why is it going to be a long night?
You must be new around here. Don't you know about the murders?
Do the police have any leads on a suspect?
Even before the outbreak, coppers never came round here. We're on our own. People die in these parts all the time, and no one cares.
Tell me more about these murders.
Every morning for the last few weeks, bodies have been found. And those poor sods didn't die of flu.
I'm looking for someone who might have passed through here recently. Wondered if you might help.
It's been quiet tonight. The only other person I've seen went straight up to his room. Thought it was kind of rude, actually.
You mean he's still here?
Well, yeah. He paid for the entire week.
Oh, cazzo.
Who is this man? What does he look like?
Well, like a gentleman, I guess. Well-dressed, quite polite. A professor or something fancy like that. Always writing, reading notes.
No, mi si è levato YouTube.
How long has he been here?
He rented the room a few days ago and didn't say when he'd leave.
Laia.
I need to meet this man. I have questions.
Just climb the stairs and knock on
Mentiroso.
the first door. I heard him open his window, so I guess he's still awake.
Viva la Colombia!
And, sir,
Yes?
no funny business. You hear me? This is a respectable establishment.
Esco il pene. Metto sul balcone. Sul
Gotta be
balcone.
something can be done to get out.
Tuk 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 tuk.
This is no place for you. Prewen has several patrols roaming the area,
Capito, Elizabeth?
but they're looking for vampires, and they're most efficient.
They'll not relent until the killer has been identified.
I have a common objective, but I require...
I think someone's eavesdropping.
Oh no?
Are you certain? You might as well come in, whoever you are.
Niente, ci ho già sgammato.
Slowly, vampire. Who are you? I mean you no harm. Say it, the vampire. Present yourself.
I need a word. With anyone.
Well, that's something I can do for you.
Perché non so.
And who might you be?
Tell me, who are you?
First, tell me what you want. Then I may tell you.
That's none of your concern.
Sir, you have entered my room in the middle of the night, pale as a corpse and shaking like a tree. So please, indulge me.
Someone is molesting people. In fact, killing them. Biting them.
The calling card of a vampire. Like you.
I've been hunted down in the streets and attacked. I'm a victim here too.
I believe you.
Then if you are not a vampire, who or what are you?
Dr. Edgar Swansea of the Brotherhood of St. Paul. I'm performing an independent investigation here in an attempt to understand precisely what is going on.
And what exactly is this Brotherhood?
Sir, if the name is not familiar to you, then we shall discuss it another time.
I heard another voice, that of a woman. Who were you talking to?
Ridiculous. I've no idea what you're talking about.
Something tells me not to trust you.
Then the feeling is mutual.
What have you uncovered concerning the murders?
It started a few nights ago. Rumors of violent murders. The docs have always been, shall we say, somewhat unsavory. But this is different.
How different?
A vampire is at work here. Famished. Reckless. It must be brought to ground, and quickly.
Then help me find the culprit.
I may. If you'll first tell me why you opened this door.
I followed a trail. The scent of blood from a recent victim. It led me here.
You thought I was your aggressor. That explains a great deal. We're both chasing the same shadow.
Perhaps. This is all new to me. I'm not even certain what I'm looking for.
You should let me handle this affair. You've no idea what you're up against.
No. I will find the monster. He is mine.
How will you do any better than I? But then let me ask you this. What are your intentions if you find the killer?
I will at last have the answers to my questions.
Then I can only wish you good hunting. And pray we shall meet again.
If Swansea is not my attacker, it means somebody else came here.
Evening, sir. Can I help you?
I have a few questions for you.
Well, if you must.
Già.
I spoke to Dr. Swansea. He's not the man I'm looking for. Now, I want the truth.
The truth? What do you mean?
I suspect that someone else was here tonight. And I don't think Tom wants to tell me about it.
I'm just the barmaid here, okay? If Tom says you're the only visitor we had, then you're the only visitor we had.
I can feel your fear, madam. Please, tell me what's going on.
It's Will. William Bishop. He came in here earlier tonight and he... Well, I thought he was going to clock someone.
Sì.
Why are you so afraid?
I mean, his skin. His hands. I scrubbed every glass and every chair that he touched. God, I hope it's not contagious.
What happened tonight?
He was dead drunk, as usual. My God, his eyes. His face. He must have caught something awful. He shouted and cried.
Sai, come uno scallo.
It was terrible.
Tell me about this William Bishop.
Will was a sailor who worked at the cannon factory before he lost that job. A nice bloke, really. He's never never been violent. Until tonight.
Why keep it a secret? Why not tell me about it?
Tom's nothing if not loyal. After Will lost his job, he offered him one ear. They used to be good mates. But recently, well, Will started to get very aggressive.
I see. Thank you for your candor. I'll be sure to talk to Tom.
Oh.
Hello, sir. May I disturb you again?
And you're still ugly as sin.
I'll leave you to your bottle then.
Faccio il dispetto. Gli parlo.
Welcome back. Did you find what you were after?
I can't say I have. Are you sure no one else came into your bar before I arrived?
Hey, I told you, you were the only other stranger I've had.
Tom, talk to me about the visit from your old friend, William.
Yes, Will came by tonight, but he's not my friend anymore.
Who is he?
William? Just an old sailor who loves his gin too much. He worked for years at the canning factory before it closed.
Is he dangerous?
Yeah. Like many drunks, he's all bark and no bite. Can barely stand up most of the time.
How was he tonight? Was he different?
Sicker than usual, perhaps. He whined and mumbled about how mean people were to him and how he'd like to talk to me outside, and then he left when I refused.
Oh no, meno male che ha rifiutato.
Why lie to me if he is not your friend?
I didn't lie. I said you were my only unannounced customer, and that's the truth.
I need to find him. It's a matter of urgency. Do you know where he is?
You could try his boat. It's up by the North Pier. He sleeps there when he's too drunk to get home.
Please describe him to me.
What'd you expect? He's a tall, sick bastard with a bad rash and torn old clothes. William used to be strong. Now he's a mess.
Thank you, Tom.
If you see him, tell him I don't want him back here unless he cleans up his act, okay?
Non lo vedremo più qua.
I hope I live long enough to see them wet boot boys get what's coming to them.
I will get to the bottom of this intrigue. What's been done to me? To this city?
Buono, buono. Oh no.
The body is still warm. This man has just been drained of blood. What's this? Some sort of note. This corpse has been dried of its blood, just like the previous victim.
Ottimo.
This man was armed. He tried to defend himself. Blood and empty gin bottles. This bishop fellow is something of a heavy drinker. There are blood splats on the other side of the canal. I must reach that barge.
Come? È facile. Teletrasporto. Siamo fortissimi. Uè, bello guagliò.
Ammunition crate. Good. I may need a lot of bullets. I feel like I'm back on the front line again.
I'm cold.
Buono.
Over there! There's one of them vermin! He's dead! Bloody leech!
Oh dear. Buonissimo. Perfetto. Per forza.
Fresh blood. The whole building reeks of it. The scent is so strong it makes me dizzy.
Faccio usato. La faccio legge.
This place reeks of bloodshed. This creature is bedeviled. I must put it down.
Il randello.
William was an honorable man. I could have saved him.
Mr. Hampton, are you in there?
We knew him well, another lost soul, a kindred spirit.
Sir, listen to the sound of my voice. I'm a doctor. You're suffering from shock.
I must return to my flock. They'll stray without me.
Oh, Elizabeth.
Remember, certain skulls are every bit as resistant as we are.
Who are you? What do you mean by skull?
You truly are a newborn. I should have realized.
Wait. You are the woman from the bar. Are you like me? Can you help me?
I believe, sir, I already have.
Intrigante.
By George and the Saints, you've solved the mystery of these terrible murders. Patience, good fellows, I've come to offer help. Just give me a moment to secure my boat. We can leave this awful place.
William was not the evil man they claimed. He was just taken by the thirst. He needed his drink.
This man requires medical attention. We'll see he gets to the nearest hospital.
No, please, I must tend to my fold. My flock needs me.
There, sir. Go with the good Dr. Swansea. He's resourceful, and I'm sure he'll take good care of you.
You'd best come as well. The sun is soon to rise, and you'll need a place to rest.
I just need a moment. If I can learn something about what has happened to William, I'll be a step closer to understanding what happened to me.
Vedi, questo qui tipo è una cosa abbastanza importante.
This poor creature can't
Ti ho
be my
toccato.
maker. Could it be some subspecies of vampire? I must find a place to analyze the blood.
E adesso si fa un bel viaggetto in barca.
Where are we headed?
We're on our way to the Pembroke Hospital. It's just across the canal. They'll have a bed for poor Mr. Hampton.
William was... What manner of creature was he?
Predator, prey, villain, and victim. Who can say? The important thing is that he's been stopped.
Duly noted. And the woman? What... Who is she?
What woman?
Oh, don't play me for a fool. You used me to locate that skull. You must know who she is.
Sarebbe stato meraviglioso con la cutscene di
Shouldn't talk
Skyrim.
about a lady behind her back.
You're finally awake.
I will tell you, she values her privacy. Were London as peaceful as she appears from the middle of the canal? If only that were the reality of the situation.
To be honest, I've always tried to avoid this part of town.
Pembroke Hospital is the last bastion between the rest of London and the epidemic. The flu has decimated the East End and the war still rages. Welcome to the front lines of a plague.
This is where you work, Dr. Swansea?
I am the administrator of Pembroke Hospital.
I thought you were here in service of your mysterious order, the Brotherhood of...
Of St. Paul's Stone, yes. But first and foremost, I'm a man of science.
Con principi etici
like
un po'
yourself,
particolari.
Dr. Reed.
How do you know who I am?
No need for modesty. You are Dr. Jonathan Reed, a surgeon of some caliber and renown, if I'm not mistaken.
You are correct, sir.
I knew it. I had my suspicions. But when you took the blood sample from the corpse of poor William, I was certain. Dr. Reed. Marvelous.
Have we met?
I attended 3 of your seminars before the war. I have the utmost admiration for your research. And what a turn of fate. England's most esteemed blood specialist returns to London a vampire.
That word, again, from a so-called man of science.
I understand. Traditionally, the role of science is to refute
Intanto però la verità.
When myth walks among us, the Brotherhood of St. Paul has dedicated its purpose to their study. There's so much for you to learn.
Of that, you are right.
Well, then let me be blunt. Join my staff at Pembroke Hospital. As a physician. I suspect you'll not find a better post of employment to contemplate your predicament.
This is sudden. I was returning home to see my sickly mother. But alas, that was before contracting this affliction.
Dr. Reed, take a moment to consider. The post would be for the night shift, providing a good explanation for your absence during daylight hours. You'll be adequately reimbursed, and have a place to hide. I even had the forethought to bring some clean clothes. So, what do you say?
It seems I have little choice, but yours is a generous offer, so I thank you.
Brilliant! Oh, Jonathan, this is one for the book, and the beginning of a beautiful friendship.
No, la musica mi sta... Ma... E per il caricamento la musica è ripartita, signori. E vabbè, dai, ci può fare.
Dr. Swansea, thank goodness. I was beginning to be concerned.
Eccola qui, la nostra vecchia Dorothy.
Crane, for I bring good news.
Oh, Doctor, what a night. We lost 2 more patients. Nurse Scow said she couldn't take it anymore and resigned.
Yes, well, I'll make a new rota in the morning. In the meantime, find a good bed for Mr. Hampton. Be sure to pay attention to his needs.
Of course, Doctor.
Abbiamo 3 leader di zone.
Yes, Doctor?
Dr. Reed here has just returned from the front. He served King and Country and will be joining us here at Pembroke. We're very lucky to have gained a surgeon of his talent, and one so experienced in blood transfusions.
That is good news indeed, Doctor.
Oh, yes.
Ok, buono.
Here at Pembroke, it's not what we have, but what we haven't. It's only thanks to Nurse Crane and the staff that our ship doesn't sink. If you have any questions, just ask her.
Duly noted. Thank you.
Your assistance is required, Dr. Swansea, immediately.
Welcome aboard, Jonathan. We'll catch up after my rounds. Coming, Nurse Crane. I'm coming. We'll have a word in my office later,
vero.
Jonathan.
Lo devo fare per il trofeo.
You can do better than that. Nah. It's my turn.
Rotten autocracy. Each heart contains the seed of life. Drink at this river. Try it all.
Oh, come on, you bastard. I won't bite.
Sir, please. You've lost too much blood. Calm yourself.
Quello di risparmiarlo.
Didn't notice. Stop your staring and get me to an hospital, you arse.
Insulting a good Samaritan. Not exactly the way to get rescued.
All right, sorry. I am in pain here. My
guts are spilling out onto the street and you're yabbering on.
Yes. That's a very nasty wound you've got there. Take my word, I am a doctor. Dr. Jonathan Reed.
Name's Clay Cox.
Cox.
I'd appreciate you helping me to a better place, Doc.
Follow me, Mr. Cox. Let me assist you to that better place.
Bring this fading light into the shadows. Dance with him the dance of life and death.
No more. Not tonight. Not like this.
Ok,
I will
preso
not take
preso.
another life.
It is wise for the huntsman to sometimes let his prey go. But no famished hunter can run for long.
Eppure sto merdone c'ha ragione.
Doctor, where have you been? I've little time to play hide and seek with new staff members, no matter how illustrious they may be.
I found a wounded man by the docks. He answers to the name of Clay Cox. He requires urgent medical attention.
Already making the rounds? That's the Pembroke spirit.
Ma chi
I'll
se
ask
ne
our
frega,
porter,
l'importante è
Milton, to
prendere
bring
il
him back
trofeo.
immediately.
Thank you, nurse. What can I do for you?
Dr. Swansea insisted we provide you a quiet office. You'll find it on the second floor with your name on the door.
Thank you. Nurse Crane, isn't it?
Yes, Dorothy Crane. Welcome to Pembroke Hospital, Dr. Reed. Your office has been prepared.
I would
No,
like to
qualche
ask a few
domanda.
questions first. If you could point me in the direction of my room again, nurse.
Second floor of the hospital, left after the stairs. It's the last vacant office at the
Lo
end
vediamo
of the corridor.
benissimo sta cosa qua.
And Mr. Hampton, the patient we brought in. How does he fare?
I gave him a sedative to help him sleep. Poor thing was in quite a state of shock.
What kind of man is Dr. Swansea?
Adesso vediamo più
Well, you
informazioni
accepted the job
possibili,
from
signori.
him. I thought you would have known about your employer.
It's right to assume Dr. Swansea knows far more about me than I do about him.
You'll get to know him soon enough, and better than me. The administrator has better things to do than mix with us.
Apologies, I've only just met him the once. This is sudden. I've only just returned to England.
Dr.
Wow.
Swansea is a brilliant surgeon and the most compassionate physician.
No.
Thank you, Nurse Crane.
Guinevere, non mi ricordo più come si chiamava.
Good evening, nurse. I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed, the new surgeon here at the Pembroke.
Dr. Swansea has
Gwyneth.
already told us about you, sir. I'm Nurse Gwyneth Brannigan. Welcome to the Pembroke Hospital.
Did he really? It's a good thing I wasn't hoping to keep a low profile.
All members of staff have already read about your new blood transfusion technique. Dr. Swansea made sure of that.
I see. Well, I'm a little surprised, but I suppose I'll just have to deal with this unexpected notoriety.
You must know, blood transfusions are Dr. Swansea's primary subject of research. He is convinced it is the future.
Lo dice adesso.
I'm not familiar with all the staff yet. Perhaps you could help me.
Brilliant professionals, most of them. Dr. Swansea has a gift for recruiting talent.
Most of them. Is there a problem I should know about, nurse?
It would be inappropriate for me to speak ill
Oh.
of a colleague.
Ah, vedi.
Nurse Brannigan, if you do know something, please tell me. Anything you say will be held in confidence.
No. I may disagree with some conduct, but in the end, everybody is doing their best.
Is there anyone that stands out?
Well, I have never met someone as dedicated as Dr. Tippett. He should be a standard for us all here. If only he were younger.
Why should his age be a problem?
I guess it's fair to say he's always pushing himself to the limits. He just doesn't know when to stop and get some rest.
Onesto.
How are things here?
Not good, to say the least. We're struggling against an invisible enemy, more lethal than any bullet from a gun. It's hard, Doctor.
Vabbè.
Goodbye, nurse. Call me if you need assistance.
No, ancora no.
Good evening, sir.
So it is true. The famous Dr. Reed has joined us. I can't think of any better news during these terrible times.
Do we know each other?
Actually, yes. We met once before, at the Rockefeller University in New York.
Dr. Tippett, yes, I remember. I was assisting Professor Carell in his research about coronary bypasses. He had nothing but praise for you.
He was also very confident about your future. And look at you now. Eminent surgeon and blood transfusion specialist.
Allora, no.
What can you tell me about the staff in the hospital?
Some are really good, and others are not so good. But during this troubled period, there is no time for slander. I prefer to focus on the positive character traits.
Ma ci sta.
Any opinion about the management?
I don't always agree with Dr. Swansea's reserve, but I must admit he does all he can to keep this facility running during this crisis.
Ah, yes, the burden of command. I was fed up with this concept while serving as a medical officer.
Don't get me wrong. Swansea's a good administrator. I just wish he would get out of his office down again.
Tell me more about cherished people, then.
Inizio non c'è granché da
Nurse
dire.
Brannigan is a
Mi
pearl.
spiace.
She is the most helpful and dedicated nurse I've ever worked with. A clever and cheerful woman.
You really seem to admire her skills.
I'll go even further. If she was a man, she would be a damn fine practitioner.
You're exhausting yourself, Corcoran. Maybe you should think about preserving your strength.
No, we must keep on healing all those poor souls. We are the last rampart before chaos. Once more unto the breach.
Wow, che bel pensiero.
Nurse Brannigan is worried about you, Doctor.
She should not have told you that. I will have a word with her.
You don't have to blame her for her honesty.
I'm not that kind of man, my dear Jonathan. Actually, Nurse Brannigan's opinion is the only one I may listen to.
Wow.
What is the Pembroke Hospital situation? And please, speak freely.
This hospital is not exactly the best of London. I'm sure you are used to working in a better environment.
Vabbè.
I can't say I'm thrilled to be working here. But to be honest, I didn't have much of a choice.
Don't be misled by appearances, Dr. Reed. This hospital does not lack talented people. It just lacks hope.
Parole intriganti. Ok.
Goodbye, Dr. Tippett.
Milton.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed. I'm new here.
I've already heard about you, Dr. Reed. I'm Milton Hooks, the ambulance driver for this shithole of a hospital.
That's quite a blunt
Vamonos.
introduction, Mr. Hooks.
You can call me Milton. I like to speak my mind, Dr. Reed. Perk of the job. Don't judge me, and I won't judge you.
I'm not sure I understand what you're talking about.
Well, I'm no doctor, but I'm pretty sure a gun can't be used as a surgical instrument.
You have a keen eye. I learned to shoot during the war, and have carried one ever since. Old habits die hard.
No need to explain, Dr. Reed. And if you ever need a better gun, remember, I may have something for you.
I'd like to see your goods.
Wise choice, Dr. Reed. A reliable gun is what everybody needs these days.
Cazzo, vero, lui vende il fucile suo. No, no.
Good evening, Milton.
Good evening, Doctor. Still trying to save lives?
So what do you do exactly in this hospital? Apart from smuggling guns, I mean.
I've been an ambulance driver since... too long, I guess. I bring sick people here night and day. It's a dirty job, but I get it done. Most of the time.
Since you're on the front line, how is the sanitary situation in this vicinity?
It's a complete disaster. It's even getting dangerous to enter some streets or buildings. Even the locals attack you.
It sounds like things have been a bit rough recently. What's happened?
Yesterday I got attacked by the patient I was bringing here. I escaped through the hospital's garden, but I lost my wallet when I was running.
You left an infected patient outside the hospital? That's incredibly dangerous.
Go there yourself if you want, but be careful, Doctor. I'd rather not bring your dead body back.
Sto pensando una cosetta, perché abbiamo una nuova indagine. Sto pensando... Faremo tutte le missioni secondarie, sì.
You want to hear the situation is all right? It's fucking awful.
Sì.
We lack everything, and it's getting worse every day.
Are you really smuggling weapons through the hospital?
And why not? I've already been attacked by patients, you know. And by gang members willing to steal my money.
Wetwood Boys.
You're selling guns to civilians.
You keep people alive your own way, Doctor. I offer them another way to protect their health.
Goodbye, Milton.
Dove sta? Quella è Gwyneth. Io e Chiara abbiamo capito cos'è quella donna.
Dr. Swansea is right. This place seems perfect to conduct my research.
It's here again.
Good evening, sir. Can I help you?
Unless you're here to fix my face. No. I don't think you can help me.
I'm Dr. Reed. I've recently taken the position of head surgeon here. War injuries, am I right?
You guessed right, Doctor. German shell took my pretty little mug right off. But they still call me Thomas Elwood.
Where were you stationed, sir? Did you serve for long?
I really don't want to talk about all this shit.
No offense. I was pushing too much. I served in France myself. I just wanted to know what happened to you.
You were an officer, weren't you? Then I doubt we fought the same war, sir. No offense.
How is your stay with us, Mr. Elwood?
Oh, it's bliss. I just escaped death in the trenches to be surrounded again by the moans of the dying.
Can I ask you precisely why you're a patient here?
It's the pain, sir. The drugs don't work. It just hurts under the scars, if you get my drift.
Who is treating you? Is someone in particular looking after you?
Nobody since the old and tired doctor spoke to me. Started to think I was forgotten about. Wouldn't blame you.
You don't seem worried by that.
My face hurts so much more when I smile or cry. I've learned it's easier not to speak. But be assured I'm smiling inside.
Sì, sì, certo.
Can I do anything for your pain?
Nurses gave me a bunch of pills. No effect. Told you.
Dottore, no, ma
it's like the flames are under my skin, burning away.
Goodbye for now, Mr. Elwood. Good evening, Mr. Hampton. How do you feel?
Dr. Reed, is it? Oh, sir, I must apologize for my behavior.
What do you mean?
I was not myself in the factory. Fear and exhaustion made me say awful things to you, I'm afraid.
You remained perfectly nice and polite. A little delirious, perhaps. But who wouldn't be after enduring an abduction?
Thank you, Doctor. That's a relief. Now all I need to do is rest and return to my flock.
Have you made friends since you arrived?
Not really, but I recognize Miss Harriet Jones. I knew her when she lived by the docks. That poor woman had such a miserable life.
You never came to see her here at Pembroke. Receiving visits when sick can be an important part of the healing process, you know. We're not just bodies.
You're preaching to the converted now, Doctor. To be truly honest, I thought she was dead. She left the docks many months ago.
Oh.
What do you do for a living, Mr. Hampton? I can't help but notice the cross around your neck.
I manage a night asylum for the poor and homeless of the docks. And I try to guide the lost and hesitant on the right path to our Lord.
Why didn't you use your cross against William Bishop? To repel him somehow?
That's a very strange question, Doctor. A cross is no magical token, if that's what you were trying to say. Not mine, anyway.
Are you a priest, Mr. Hampton? A deacon, maybe?
Not at all, Doctor. I'm just a man of faith willing to preach the good word.
How do you feel, Mr. Hampton? Medically speaking, I mean.
I feel exhausted. Beyond exhaustion, actually. William drank so much of my blood in his madness. I feel empty.
You're in good hands here. Dr. Swansea is well versed in blood transfusion, and I'm sure he'll take the best care of you.
Thank you, sir. I believe all I need is rest. And then I can go back to the people who need me.
Do you know Tom Watts, the bartender from the Turtle? I met him before I found you in the canning factory.
Tom? Yes, of course. Always the helping hand, good old Tom. Without men like him, corruption and despair would have wiped out the East End long ago.
Who should I avoid in this part of town, then? Any particularly evil figures?
Not really. Most men and women are just doing their best. And it's not my habit to speak ill of people I know, Doctor.
People are still in despair.
How could it be otherwise? The authorities have left us all to rot in this contagious nightmare. No drugs, no advice, nothing. It's a damn shame.
How did you end up in William Bishop's den?
I had received alarming news about his recent behavior. I went to his place and he refused to let me go.
Oh, no.
You dared to enter this awful place alone. You're a
Ho
hero,
ritardato.
Mr. Hampton.
No.
Or a fool.
I'm just a man trying to help his friends, Dr. Reed. William Bishop was a conflicted soul, searching for light.
Why did he abduct you?
William was an alcoholic. His addiction suddenly changed to blood. I don't know why. Just like a patient I met here. This Miss Hawcroft.
What is the general situation in the East End docks?
The situation has always been tough, with a lot of tensions between the gangs and the dockers' trade union. The wet boot boys are very nervous since they lost their leader.
Has the gang been threatening you?
Ah, no. I've had this nickname for so long, you know, the sad saint of the East End. No one dares to bug a saint, not even criminals.
Wow. Adesso lui è salvo.
Since Clay Cox went missing, it's his wife Edwina who runs the show, with the assistance of her minion, Booth Digby.
Goodbye, Mr. Hampton. We'll talk again later.
Qui non si può entrare. Eccola qui.
Good evening, miss. I'm Dr. Reed, the new surgeon at the Pembroke Hospital. And who are you?
Your name has no meaning to me, mortal. You're nothing but dust blown by the winds of eternity.
I beg your pardon?
What are you begging for, mortal? My clemency? Well, tonight maybe I'm inclined to mercy. You'll never forget the night you met Thelma Howcroft.
You keep calling me mortal. Why is that? And if I'm mortal, what are you?
Well, Dr. Reed, if you must know, I'm a vampire.
I'm a vampire. Che bello sto sussurro.
Who are you really, Miss Howcroft? I mean, apart from being a vampire.
Is that not enough for you, puny mortal?
Yeah.
What do you require? Proof of my powers?
I'm curious to know who you were before becoming a vampire.
No, such a long time ago, I don't remember. Centuries of unholy life can have strange effects on one's minds, you see?
Dubito.
I'm assuming you must be a patient here. Am I right, Miss Howcroft?
It's only a cover. To hide from my enemies. I can leave whenever I want. As a woman, a spirit, fog, or bat.
Certo.
The staff here are not your enemy. They're here to help you, to care for you.
I'm not speaking of the doctors in white. I'm speaking of the men and women who hunt me. For I am a vampire.
I see. Don't worry. These people will not find you here. I'll personally make sure they leave you alone.
Quanto siamo
Thank
bravi.
you, mortal. But do not interfere with them, for you are no match for those that hunt me.
Who are these enemies you mentioned? Can you describe them?
I cannot say for sure. But I sense their eyes on me from nearby. I feel them watching me every time I visit the garden near the morgue.
And why do you believe you're a vampire?
I don't need to believe anything. It is what I am. It is what I feel within this hollow shell of flesh.
Please, describe to me how you feel.
Sto per sbagliare, sto
What is
per
it like
bestemmiare.
to be a vampire?
I can hear my body crumble from the inside as my flesh cracks and fades. I sense the last pulse of pustulant blood within my drying veins. I need new blood.
I see. Have you ever heard of Cotard's syndrome, Miss Howcroft?
Never.
It's a mental illness discovered by a French neurologist named Jules Cotard. The affected patients are delusional. They believe that they are putrefying, that they are dead, a ghost or a ghoul, or in your case, a vampire.
Delusional, you say? Oh, sad and petty mortal. You can't even begin to understand the concept of immortality. And you think it is I who am delusional.
Sì. Okay.
I'll leave you, Mistress of the Dark, to your nocturnal activities.
Pippa. Lettera lunga. Anzi, lascio il Pembroke.
Good evening, nurse.
Good evening, Doctor. I don't think we've been introduced yet. My name is Pippa Hawkins.
And I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed. Dr. Swansea has recently offered me a position in this hospital.
Well, it's a euphemism that your help will be appreciated, Doctor.
Meno male.
Pippa, are you sure you want to leave this hospital?
To become a nurse was a little girl's dream. But in the end, I don't feel that useful. I want more. I want to make things change.
Oh.
But you're doing something important here. For all the patients who need your help.
We save lives, sure. Each time we send a cured patient home, it's a relief beyond words. But since the epidemic, I feel so powerless.
Vabbè, che ti aspettavi?
How is the Pembroke staff coping with the epidemic?
Well, not well. Milton, the ambulance driver, is even more grumpy than usual, especially concerning doctors.
Why does Milton dislike doctors?
I don't know. Just ask him. But be warned, Milton is not the chatty type.
Vabbè.
Why is Milton grumpy on a daily basis? Is it just an act?
Milton's not the kind of man who's bothered about a bad reputation, whether he deserved it or not.
Che abbiamo adesso?
How long have you been a nurse?
Well, long enough to see that the epidemic is winning. And no matter how qualified you are, don't tell me you'll change that.
I don't like your attitude, Nurse Hawkins. Pessimism can be as lethal as the epidemic in times like these.
Sorry, Doctor. I don't want to sound bitter, but I'm just too tired to give a pep talk like Nurse Brannigan.
How would you describe the situation at the Pembroke Hospital?
It's serious. The flu is wreaking havoc amongst the staff and patients. We are running out of everything.
Nurse Hawkins, the Spanish flu won't last forever. Even the Black Plague didn't kill everyone.
I wish I could believe you. But what if this epidemic was worse? What if in the end, nobody was spared?
No.
How is the Pembroke staff coping with the epidemic?
Well, not well. Milton, the ambulance driver, is even more grumpy than usual, especially concerning doctors.
How would you describe the situation at the Pembroke Hospital?
It's serious. The flu is wreaking havoc amongst the staff and patients. We are running out of everything.
You must get a hold of yourself, nurse.
Sorry, I'm exhausted. No one has any idea when this epidemic will be over.
Ok. Nient'altro.
Goodbye, Nurse Hawkins.
Allora, abbiamo parlato con Pippa, arriva un'altra gentaglia. Abbiamo aperto.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reed. I believe we're going to be colleagues.
Reed? Yes, I've been informed about your arrival. I'm Waverly Ackroyd. Welcome aboard, I suppose.
Does my arrival inconvenience you in some way, Dr. Ackroyd?
Let us just say that I don't particularly share Dr. Swans's enthusiasm for hiring you. What we need here are reliable professionals, not overrated dabblers.
Ma io sono fortissimo.
It seems you have bad memories of your military service.
I refuse to see this industrial slaughter as scientific progress. War only reveals the worst in men.
We can at least agree on something, Dr. Ackroyd. I don't know what you've heard about me, but I have already proved my value as a practitioner.
I don't question your skills, Dr. Reed, but your motive. Is it money, fame, or are you truly dedicated?
And what exactly is that supposed to mean?
I served in the war just like you. But
But
unlike you, I did not use the wounded to play the modern sorcerer.
Be careful what you insinuate, Dr. Ackroyd.
I only want you to admit you used those men to improve your theories.
Knowledge has always been and will remain our main weapon, and it has always come at a price. And personal initiative.
It is not a question of initiative, it is a question of integrity. These men and women have put their faith in us, Dr. Reed.
Since your tenure in this hospital is longer than mine, perhaps you can tell me more about this place.
Let's just say I'm tired of the carelessness around me. I have always respected the skills of Dr. Swansea, but over time his enthusiasm has become displaced.
Carelessness? Exactly what are you talking about?
We're here to save lives. The people who trust us are not volunteering for experimentation. They're here to be healed.
I don't intend to run any radical experiments, Doctor. Even if I, as any good practitioner should, express an interest in pushing the boundaries of medical research.
Modern medical methods were created through audacity and ego. But there are rules in our line of work, and they're here to protect our patients.
Allora. Sto
If
qui
you
un
have a problem with me,
conservatore.
Dr. Ackroyd, please feel free to tell me.
Dr. Swansea has imposed your presence on this hospital without asking anyone's advice. The benefit of his position. But I don't agree with it.
I know we've never met before, but I believe this hospital could use all the help it can get. You will agree with that, I'm sure.
Oh, but I have heard about you, Dr. Reed. Of course, you can't say the same about me, since I have not wasted my time courting the press.
Aren't you too old for such jealousy? It really won't do you any good, you know.
Don't be ridiculous, Dr. Reed. A simple glance is enough for me to know you have nothing for me to envy.
Allora, finite tutte? Sì.
Thank you for your time.
Eppure Ackroyd è fatto. un merdone, crane. Oh.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reed. May I help you?
I don't know if a third opinion is needed. Your colleagues are already arguing about my condition.
I see. Would you mind telling me more about your situation?
I'm Harvey Fiddick. All I want is to get me bloody arm fixed properly.
Tell me about yourself, Mr. Fiddick.
I'm just a regular guy waiting to get his arm fixed, so I can return to work and to my family.
I was more curious about what you were doing before being hospitalized.
I'm a carpenter, and a good one too. But that means I need both arms to feed my family, Dr. Reed.
Are you satisfied with your treatment here?
Well, it's clear that I've chosen a bad time to be injured. Forgive my bluntness, but you seem overwhelmed by cases of the flu.
I won't lie to you about it. I'm afraid we are.
Are you sure you don't want to operate yourself, Dr. Reed? I have the feeling you're very capable. And your colleagues seem to think so too.
In other circumstances, you would be right. But for now, I don't think I can take on the responsibility. My apologies. Tell me about the doctors who are arguing about your case.
Strickland and Aykroyd. They both want the best for me, but there's a lot of pride there. Doctors are no different from carpenters, it seems.
What do you mean?
I often had professional arguments with rivals on a building site. Difference is I disagreed about wooden nails, not flesh and bones.
Ci sta.
Goodbye for now, Mr. Fiddick.
Perfetto.
I'll see you later.
Ultime due persone. Ah, no, non sono le ultime due.
Good evening. I'm Dr. Reed. Can I help at all?
No.
Really? Why are you here then?
I don't want to talk. My throat
Meglio
hurts
stare
too
qua
much.
per
I suppose that
tempo.
this pain is the reason you're here. Is someone taking care of you?
Yes.
No, quella donna lì dietro.
Could you
non
at
è
least
nessuno.
tell me your name, sir?
Mortimer. Mortimer Goswick.
Ah, devo ratare la barocca.
Tell me about yourself, Mr. Goswick.
I don't want to talk, Doctor.
Vabbè, dai, però.
How painful is your throat, Mr. Goswick?
So painful I'd rather not talk at all, Doctor.
I'm sure you realize a doctor and his patient have to communicate, sir.
Beh, lingua del
Would it
segno,
help if I
supposto.
gave you some paper and a pen?
Not really.
I see. Then maybe it's not just your throat that hurts, Mr. Goswick. Perhaps your sore throat is just the consequence of something more hurtful.
Yes, maybe. But I don't want to talk or even write about it now.
How painful is
Ah,
your
gli possiamo
throat,
rifare
Mr.
questa
Goswick?
domanda.
So painful I'd rather not talk at all.
Avevo tutto questo ci aspettavamo.
I'll let you get some rest then.
Good evening, sir. Doctor.
Good evening, madam. Can I help you?
It's my son who needs you, sir.
I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed. How can I help your son?
I'm Beatrice Goswick, mother of Mortimer Goswick. Could you check on him, please, Dr. Reed? I've heard much of your talents as a physician.
Già fatto, signora, è un po' uno stronzo suo figlio.
What can you tell me about yourself, Mrs. Goswick?
Not much to say. Just take care of my Mortimer and I'll cover all the expenses. That's all that matters.
Beh, ma... A parte che...
Are you really that rich? Most of the patients here are of a more humble origin, if I may say so.
Yes. Thanks to my husband. May he rest in peace. I can cover any needed medical expenses.
Oh.
May I ask if you have an occupation, Mrs. Goswick?
I'm a teacher by profession. I teach young women who are more ambitious about their futures than their families.
Onesto.
What do you think of your reception here? Any complaints?
I have had the uttermost reservations about this hospital since we arrived. But we had no other choice, considering the state of emergency.
Is there something in particular that's bothering you?
Some of the staff were not especially welcoming. I suspect they're not accustomed to dealing with patients of such social standing.
Vabbè.
Tell me more about your arrival at the Pembroke Hospital. What gave you such a bad first impression?
The ambulance driver was quite rude, for a start. And that nurse, Miss Hawkins, seems to have quite a dubious attitude.
What do you mean?
She managed to secure a bed for my son despite the epidemic. It was a relief, but it wasn't cheap.
Greve.
I share your concern, Mrs. Goswick. Be sure that I'll talk to the people involved.
I don't expect compensation, Dr. Reed. But I'm aware such behavior would not be tolerated in other hospitals.
Infatti, si fa.
She charged you for a bed?
Yes, and I paid without question, considering the urgency of the situation.
Questa cosa è greve, signori, questa cosa è proprio tanto greve. Va bene.
Goodbye, Mrs. Goswick.
Don't waste your time with me.
Eccolo qui il nostro fan.
Good evening, Doctor. I believe we're going to be working together.
Dr. Reed. Dr. Swansea informed us of your arrival, but I could not dare to believe we'd have such good fortune. Such an honor, sir.
Thank you. And you are?
I am Thoreau Strickland, Dr. Thoreau Strickland. I'm a great admirer of your work, Dr. Reed.
Ah, vedi, lui è il nostro più grande ammiratore. Non possono fargli domande.
What can you tell me about the Pembroke?
Well, it has always been an honor to work with Dr. Swansea. But with your arrival, I can't think of a better opportunity to learn about blood transfusion.
Visto?
You seem quite optimistic. It's a rare and precious attitude in these difficult times.
I'm convinced that this epidemic is a test of endurance and dedication for us men of science.
Questions remain about our capacity to resolve the situation.
True. Last summer, during the first wave of the epidemic, I used to joke with Milton about the extra work. We're not smiling now.
Do you need help with anything in particular?
Well, yes, maybe. I'm waiting for a batch of products I ordered for my personal research, yet my supplier seems to have vanished.
Do you want me to play the errand boy for you?
Oh no, Dr. Reed. But if you went personally to his shop, what with your reputation and all, he wouldn't dare to refuse the products I need.
I see. Well, give me the address, for I may pass by if I have time. Please, could you tell me something about yourself?
I'm a great admirer of your work concerning blood transfusion, Dr. Reed. I run my own experiments. I'm convinced it's the future.
Oh.
I based my technique on my mentor's research. He helped me perfect my method. What is yours?
I'd rather not talk about it. For now, it's just theories at first approach. My process is purely experimental and unsuccessful.
As long as you're cautious and methodical. You may remain empty-handed, but you won't fail.
You're not the first one to warn me, but I am convinced knowledge is the main weapon against the ravages of this epidemic.
What made you choose to be a doctor?
I'm not ashamed to admit you and your work have inspired me. I am honored to have the opportunity to work by your side.
Ooh.
It's always a pleasure to share scientific and medical knowledge with someone eager to learn. I'll be glad to help you if I can.
This epidemic may be the century's most terrible disaster, but I'm convinced that we, as doctors, are the only ones able to defeat it.
What do you think of Dr. Ackroyd's aversion to modern medical methods?
It's a shame he's so narrow-minded. Dr. Swansea taught me that science is about exploring uncharted territory. I'm convinced that's true.
With the influenza and all that's going on, you should put your differences aside, don't you think? Why is it so difficult to work together?
I believe that if Dr. Ackroyd had been the one to discover the transfusion process, he would be the first to recommend its use.
So you believe it's just a question of jealousy and pride?
Dr. Ackroyd is as proud as he is blinded by his obsolete concept of medical science.
Vabbè. Io me che ci sono questi tipi di persone, no?
Tell me more about your willingness to experiment with new medical techniques.
Harvey Fiddick is a patient suffering from a severe injury that could cripple him if not treated correctly. I'm convinced your blood transfusion technique could help him.
What is it you really want? To save him, or to prove your point?
Fair question. I want nothing but to save my patient, Dr. Reed. Especially since I know Mr. Fiddick's story.
Tell me Mr. Fiddick's story.
Our first diagnosis was compromised because Mr. Fiddick lied to us about the real origin of his injury. He first claimed it was an accident.
But why would he hide such crucial information from us?
Because he is a proud father, ashamed of putting his children at risk because of his own negligence.
Ooh.
This personal involvement could also appear to be a lack of impartiality. You must know that a good surgeon must remain neutral.
I agree. But that does not excuse Dr. Ackroyd's behavior. A man who did not even take time to converse with his patient.
Do you think keeping his distance was a mistake?
All I know is that I'm taking care of human beings with desires, hopes and fears. Not some biological machine comprised of blood, bones and flesh.
Esatto. Vabbè, non ha torto, ragazzi. C'era anche l'effetto palliativo, no? Non mi ricordo come si chiamava. L'effetto placebo. Tipo, qua c'è una medicina che ti fa sentire meglio, non c'è una gamba, non ti preoccupare, bevi questo e non la senti più. Tu lo prendi e ti pare che non lo senti.
Being watched by vampire hunters. Good evening. I'm Dr. Reed.
Always a pleasure to meet a colleague, sir. Especially when he was supposedly dead.
A colleague? Are you a doctor too?
Not anymore, sir. I used to be Dr. Rakesh Chadana. Now, I'm just Mr. Chadana, pawnbroker and humble guardian of this morgue.
What do you mean, you used to be a doctor? Was your license revoked?
No, sir. It is just that I like to be precise. I run a little pawn shop while taking care of the dead. But I used to be a real doctor.
A pawnbroker? I expect you get all types of people here.
Yes, sir. All kind of people. For I sell all kind of goods.
What kind of goods?
With the quarantine, it's not always easy to buy things. So I trade. I exchange. Some people sell, some others buy. I like to help.
Oh.
Who comes here to trade with you? It's very unhygienic, even unsafe. Diseases can spread. For the customers, for the hospital.
I'm very cautious, sir. I've been a doctor, remember? And all my clients are good people. In fact, I think I only know good people.
Vabbè. Non ci sbilanciamo troppo.
Have we met before?
I don't think so, sir. Why?
When we first talked, you said you were glad to meet me since I was reported dead.
Funny story, sir. Your sister came here a few nights ago. You were missing, and she was looking for your body. She must be very relieved now.
Do you work here alone?
Yes, very easy work, sir. All I have to do is watch a few bodies. The situation was very different when the main morgue was still open.
Why do you have to watch these bodies?
Because these poor fellows have no names. We keep them in case someone comes looking for the missing. Sadly, very rarely happens.
Vabbè, dopo tutto, anche in base alle possibilità.
Why close the hospital's main morgue?
It was for sanitary reasons after the beginning of the epidemic. Cadavers had to be moved to the nearest mass grave.
Are you afraid or uneasy being surrounded by so many corpses?
Why should I? These bodies are empty vessels. Flesh left to decay. Poof. No soul anymore. All gone.
Dubito.
An interesting point of view. And quite an exotic one, too. Most people fear, or at least have a respect, for dead flesh.
Sir, as a medic during the war, I learned to face my death and the death of others. It's the pain we have to tame, not death itself.
How did you get this job?
After I left the army, I worked as an undertaker down by the docks. A dangerous place with many an unpleasant business there. Milton Hooks helped me get a job here.
Ottimo.
Please show
possiamo
me
fare
what
già
you have to
affari.
sell. Of course. It's just trinkets and curios, really. But I'm sure they can be useful.
It never ceases to amaze me how you, the dead,
Cosa cerchiamo di andare a sbloccare sin da subito? Vabbè no. No. Nella nostra stanza, signori. Vabbè, non ci interessa, signore. Minchia, sei brutta, porca troia.
It's locked.
It's locked.
This must be the place. It's definitely away from prying eyes. Relegated to the shadows. A kingdom of my own. At least I won't be sleeping in a coffin.
Già qualcosa di molto positivo, no? Eccoci, abbiamo succato già un tipo di siero. Perfetto.
William Bishop's blood is much more unstable than human blood and shows extensive mutation. But this is not what happened to me. I must keep on searching. The sun is about to rise. I can feel it. I'll continue tomorrow night. I have so much time now.
Vabbè, ho dato 1400 punti, non sono tanti, però almeno ci possiamo fare qualcosa in ogni caso. Allora, noi aspetteremo fino alle date delle supreme, livello 10, cazzo. Sarà pure difficile livellare, signori. Adesso vediamo questa cosa qui. Stanza fisica. Volume di sangue per 2. Il danno inflitto dal morso. Ok, confermo.
If I'm to stay here until my research is complete, I'd better learn to hide my true nature from the mortals. But what about my thirst for blood?
Quello è un problema.
Yes, Nurse Crane? How can I help you?
I'm so sorry. I know Dr. Swansea wanted you to rest, but we have somewhat of a crisis.
A crisis, you say?
Our supply of antiseptics is nearly depleted. I was hoping there was another box up here, but...
What type of hospital are you running? No antiseptics?
You have been away too long, Doctor. With the war and now this epidemic, supplies have been running scarce for months now.
I may have a solution. In France, during the war, drugs shortage was a daily problem, and we had to use our wits to overcome the shortages.
However do you mean?
If combined correctly, certain household chemical products can be used in a pinch.
Non fatelo a casa, è
now,
importante.
where's the hospital storeroom?
The storeroom? Fat chance. This is the Pembroke, and space is luxury we don't have. Everything used to be stored in the old morgue.
Perhaps I should look there first. Where is this morgue?
It's the large building behind the hospital. You'll need to go in the back door because it's been sealed off for sanitary reasons. Take this key. It opens a small back entrance at the end of a narrow street.
The abandoned morgue behind the hospital. A small door at the end of a narrow street. On my way then. Thank you, nurse.
Eccolo qui, la nostra arma di distruzione di massa. Torniamo a utilizzare le nostre armi comunque. Allora, vamos.
Scowl voices in the garden. I should investigate. If they were to find somebody.
Mordo. Olè. Sessuale.
So, Mr. Hooks and Nurse Hawkins are an item. Those two have hidden their affections well.
Non ci sono mai entrato. Che bel posto questo. La secondaria del Pembroke, che bella. Come è passato per qui? Vedi, anche se ci sembra il motivo in più per stupirsi questo gioco qua. Giri l'angolo. Boh, è la mira, quelle a me servivano. Sotto una banchina solamente camminarci sopra. Cazzo. Proiettili. Non ho visto. È una zona particolare più che altro. Ma di che? Adesso cambiamo anche secondarie. Migliorare le armi usando i banchi da lavoro che sono disponibili in ogni nascondiglio. Ah, madonna. I consigli inutili di qualsiasi Souls-like. Cioè poi ti guidano. È quello lì il greve. Cioè ti guidano e te lo ripetono. Non è che ci sia molto da fare, Fiala di vetro. Il brutto verso di uno skull. Allora aspetta proprio. No. Va bene. Scellini. Io devo solamente avere scellini per tutto il resto della mia vita.
Balls of Mars, fortifiers. As popular as they are ineffective. But they do contain iron tartrate, and that might prove itself useful. Behavior is similar to the infected William Bishop. Must be the same strain. This sickness moves faster than influenza.
Proiettili, tanti proiettili. Sono molto contento perché mi sembra una bella scorta.
This key will surely grant me access to the basement.
Ma oggi c'è un nemico. Che mordo. E sei rimordo. Che sono fortissimo. È vero, si scoprono anche adesso gli scavi. Quelli particolari.
These skulls feed from corpses and the husks of animals. They're not after blood.
Che sfiga. 8 proiettili, sono buonissimi. Allora.
Mr. Connor's injuries don't match the report. I'd better look into this. The chest was originally open to perform the operation. The sutures are clean, but the chest has been reopened. Traces of a pinkish foam at the corner of the lips. Some sort of drug overdose, perhaps? Multiple abrasions and scarring on the arms and legs. Old and distinctive injuries of a sailor or a fisherman. A puncture over the left lung, possibly a chest tube insertion. Not the cleanest work, but I think it was successful. Signs of internal bleeding. So, Dr. Tippett's anesthetics were incorrectly dosed, causing the patient's death. And then, he tried to operate on him again. Tippett has made an egregious error. It's time we talked.
Non bene. Abbiamo perso Connor, amici.
Tippett has made an egregious error. It's time we talked.
Cazzo, è morto Connor. Perché brilla? Niente? Ok. Vamos! Così affronta il boss.
These skulls can be so ferocious. I'm not sure I can defeat them without becoming stronger. To drink blood is so tempting.
Giocare la storia è forse anche troppo facile, però noi non ce ne frega un cazzo, anzi. Sfrutteremo l'essere avere una difficoltà bassa per avere un personaggio ancora più overpowered del normale. Ma quando l'ho ucciso? Ho preso le... sì. Bello, già posso guarire la polmonite. Dorothy Crane. Dove cazzo vuoi? Muori. Lo mordo e lo uccido anche. Un po' di chinino. Perfetto. Allora, Demix, cosa ne pensi per ora? È il primo gioco RPG Souls-like della casa che ha fatto Life is Strange. Molto, guarda, il periodo storico, i personaggi, il protagonista è la perfezione, signore. Cioè, guarda. Non so se ho detto anche a te, ma è uno dei miei giochi preferiti oramai. No, no, fidati, guarda, fosse solamente questo il problema, è pieno di bug sto giochetto qua, ma è normale perché ti aspetti da delle persone che hanno fatto per la loro vita solo, e dico solo, giochi in avventura grafica. Sarà anche di peggio, esatto, chi ha ragione, ci sarà anche di peggio. Allora, prima cosa.
Good evening, Nurse Brannigan.
Good evening, Doctor.
Why does Dr. Tippett claim you're the main reason he keeps working, despite his fatigue?
If it wasn't for him, I probably would have left the Pembroke years ago.
Dr. Tippett does not think of you as just a nurse anymore, does he?
If you're suggesting he's not taking my gender into consideration when it comes to medical practice and knowledge, I really hope he doesn't.
Tell me what Dr. Tippett did. I know his mistake caused a patient's death.
If I had not covered up his error, Dr. Tippett would have been fired from this hospital. I could not let that happen.
You can't allow your emotions to dictate your conduct concerning patients, Nurse Brannigan.
Look around you, Dr. Reed. Do you really think we can afford to lose a brilliant practitioner like Dr. Tippett's in our situation?
To clear Dr. Tippett's name must be the decision of Dr. Swansea. You can't take matters into your own hands.
I respect Dr. Swansea's authority and management, but he's no idea what happens here on a daily basis. I did what I had to do.
Vabbè.
How are things here?
Not good, to say the least. We're struggling against an invisible enemy, more lethal than any bullet from a gun. It's hard, Doctor.
Do you think this hospital can survive the epidemic?
We are all volunteers here, and we're trying to hold fast, but how do we beat an invisible killer? Some nurses have already resigned.
An invisible enemy? Quite a poetic term for a disease, especially from a nurse.
Sorry, Doctor. These last few weeks have been exhausting. We could all do with a good night's sleep.
Goodbye, nurse. Call me if you need assistance.
Dov'è Concoran?
Good evening, Dr. Tippett.
Dr. Reed, any good news to share?
Corcoran, I want you to tell me about Mr. Connor. How did he die? What happened?
He was my patient. He died because of my mistake. That's the blunt truth.
Who was this patient?
I don't know. Some sick man from the docks, maybe a fisherman. I had no time to talk with him. No one claimed a body.
What was the nature of the mistake?
It was a twofold error. My diagnosis was wrong, and the administered dosage was too strong.
Why not stop practicing?
Are you mad? I killed that man, I admit it, and it won't happen again. I have saved so many lives since then.
I will cover for you, Dr. Tippett, by keeping what happened to Mr. Connor to myself.
I don't know what to say, actually. I can't exactly force you to become my accomplice.
You didn't force me. This is my decision to make. I believe you're still of use to the hospital, considering the situation.
Then I can make you this promise. As soon as the epidemic is eradicated, I will resign.
What will you do after your resignation? Do you have a plan?
I always fancied visiting Cyprus. Such a beautiful island. I could buy a house there by the sea, read poetry, and wait for death.
Goodbye, Dr. Tippett.
La Dorothy Crane.
I cannot enter.
Finally, you've returned, Doctor. Did you find anything of value?
Yes, nurse.
You've worked your first miracle, Doctor. Now, this patient here needs immediate treatment.
Duty calls. When the storm has passed, I'll show you how to mix the remedy yourself with the same basic ingredients.
Many thanks, Doctor. When you've finished, you ought to report to Dr. Swansea in his office. He's been looking for you. Seemed pressing.
No.
Good evening, Doctor. How is my son doing?
C'era così tanto spesso
Goodbye,
sta
Mrs.
cosa, madonna.
Good evening, Mr. Goswick. How are you?
I'm okay.
Do you need any help?
I'm afraid I may, sir. I don't mean to be a burden.
You are not a burden, sir. Healing you is my responsibility.
And you have my gratitude for that.
Oh.
I have to go now, sir. But don't hesitate to contact me if you need any help.
Don't waste your time with me.
Concentrazione al sangue.
It's locked.
Please, Jonathan, come in. Fascinating, is it not? In the last decade, so many mysteries have been brought to light with our microscopes. The human body, biology's penultimate frontier. The more we explore its boundaries, the less we're able to trace a clear line between life and death. You, my friend, have a foot in both countries. The view must be vertiginous.
It's at least as vertiginous as chatting about vampires with you, I would say.
This must be all so new to you. This area of town, the hospital, a brand new life. How stimulating it must be.
I wish I could share your enthusiasm, Dr. Swansea, but my condition defies scientific categorization. Undead? Unalive? Immortality defies logic.
I cannot express my thrill at this serendipitous turn of events. The world's most eminent specialist in blood transfusions, a vampire. One might say a gift from heaven.
There is an absurd poetry to my situation. Physician, heal thyself.
Forgive me. I've been an admirer of your work for a long time, and now you are so much more than a brilliant physician. And please, call me Edgar.
There is no need to apologize, Edgar. You offered me sanctuary when I had none.
Very well. I have a task for you, Jonathan. Something that will require all your newfound skills.
Please, go on.
The Pembroke only survives through the generosity of our benefactors. Unfortunately, our main donor has found herself in a bit of a bind. Now, if you could help her out...
A spokesman or politician is what you need. That's not my calling. And until I come to understand what has happened to me, I require discretion.
Discretion is in order, Jonathan. Lady Ashbury has recently received rather indelicate correspondence that, if revealed, would jeopardize her position.
And you would like me to eradicate this threat?
By the stole, of course not. I would just like you to pay her a visit. Her ladyship is certainly near the tents outside, tending the sick. You can't miss her. Look for someone impossibly delicate.
Accepted. I'll see what kind of trouble Lady Ashbury is in.
Do you need something, Jonathan?
I have just a few questions.
Then ask away. I'm at your service, Doctor.
Ah, ok, non ci ho ripensato.
We'll see each other again soon.
Troppe domande per me, non ce la faccio. Dove possiamo andare a finire adesso? Ah, ok, quindi abbiamo fuori Lady Elizabeth. Lady. Devo anche fare questo. Conviene anche fare questo. Ma non dovrebbe ucciderlo. Ma scusa, vuoi dirmi che il paletto adesso fa danno? Che strana questa. Ok. Arruolati. Marruolo mamma da marruolo. Verso Whitechapel. Avremo le quest per Whitechapel, lo faremo, no? Ok. Ovviamente cosa particolare, ma non si vede ancora.
The flu took my dear
Non
wife,
escono altri commenti.
I take comfort knowing we'll soon be together again.
Mr. Rainfield, that's no way to talk. You're in good hands here, and we'll be up again soon enough. Now do me a kindness and get some sleep. I'll be back round later.
Your words are kind, the blessings of an angel. You're the sweet, sweet Lady of Mercy.
Good evening, Dr. Reed. It's a pleasure to see you again. You seem surprised. Dr. Swansea has brought me up to speed concerning your recent appointment to Pembroke Hospital.
You're a the lady who saved me that night, before vanishing into thin air. I remember you from the pub with Dr. Swansea.
Indeed. Allow me to introduce myself formally this time. My name is Lady Ashbury. I remember you well, in spite of the brevity of our encounter.
Apologies. You've taken me by surprise. I'm very happy to see you.
The pleasure is mine, Doctor.
I hope you're more disposed to answer my questions now.
You must have countless questions, but our rather urgent matter first. Swansea has explained. My cover, if you prefer, has been compromised.
Oh no.
Have any of the patients given you trouble?
These poor souls have so little left to live for. I do my best to ease their pain.
The world would be a better place if it were cared for by women like you.
You make me blush. I am simply a necessary evil.
Pardon my boldness, Your Ladyship, but I have questions concerning this condition we share.
As a newborn, your hunger for answers is rivaled only by your thirst for blood. But the questions need wait.
I'm a scientist. My trade is in the deciphering of mysteries, and I need information to feed my mind.
I will gladly answer every question you have, but first, prove yourself capable of resolving my predicament without eating the culprit.
Dr. Swansea has commissioned me to be your agent in this matter. You could start by explaining what's amiss.
These past insufferable weeks, I've been the victim of extortion. I've made a first payment, but the blackmailer grows greedy. I must refuse his most recent demands.
What are your expectations? Please be precise.
As the newly appointed surgeon of this hospital, you are in an excellent
No, vabbè,
position
le
to
prendo
ask
sempre
innocent
facoltative,
questions
perché gli
and
inizi
deftly
non
learn the
ci sono.
identity of my blackmailer.
Who would be so foolish as to threaten you? A kindred spirit.
Even if it were the case, and I highly doubt it, a vampire would have asked for something more valuable than money. My suspicions lean toward a patient or their family.
If we're dealing with an ordinary criminal, surely you've the means to deal with it yourself, if I may.
As immortal tradition doth dictate, all fangs and hypnotic eyes ablaze, the blood would run like a river. That's what I hope to avoid. Violence has a tendency to spiral out of control.
Please continue. Every detail is essential. I'm your man.
My embarrassment in this matter is eclipsed only by my shame at having put the hospital at risk. The threat from our anonymous scoundrel is clear. A list of dates. My visits coinciding with the dates of suspicious patient deaths due to massive blood loss.
I'll take care of it. Do you know where I should start?
If that was the case, I'd settle the matter myself. You could talk to our local gossip, Harriet Jones. Not a pin drops here without her hearing about it.
I'll meet that woman now.
My life, as others know, is in your hands, Dr. Reed. I'm sure of your discretion, but I do fear your powers of persuasion will be put to the test. When this is resolved, I'll be your obligé. I'll answer all questions in regards of your condition.
So lucky to have Dr. Reed, you know. I met him in New York.
Harriet Jones, Chiara, te la ricordi?
That's my blanket. Oh, the cold will be my death. What is this? Who are you? Get out of my room.
There's no need for alarm, madam. I'm Dr. Reed, the new surgeon.
Preposterous. Dr. Reed, you say? I don't want some bumbling intern.
È incredibile
Where's
come
Dr.
ci siamo
Swanson?
vicini, vero?
If you continue shouting, I'll have you restrained and gagged. Understood?
How brave. Threatening an old defenseless woman. You know how long I've been a patient here? You've picked the wrong fight. I'm Harriet Jones.
Harriet Jones? Indeed. I've been meaning to have a chat with you. You know what goes on here better than any other patient, I gather.
Oh, better than any patient, nurse or doctor. I've seen so many vile undertakings.
I heard there have been some despicable goings-on. Was there a case of blackmail?
Blackmail? Wait. You're investigating something. This isn't a social call. One of those incompetent cunts slit a poor sod's vein.
If I didn't know better, Miss Jones, I'd be inclined to say you enjoy this type of idle gossip.
God's honest truth, Doctor. It's just the way it is here. Most of these bitches would let you freeze to death before getting you a blanket.
You seem to know more about the goings-on here than anyone else. Beware, Miss Jones, in case suspicion should fall on you.
That's it. Blame the old and infirm. I see those little bitches' greedy little eyes. Just waiting for me to pop off they are.
I assure you, madam, this is not an investigation into a possible medical error.
Debauchery, then? Nurses Crane, Hawkins, Brannigans, whores, all of them. They can't keep their legs shut. I've seen them scratching slutty sores.
Really? Well, if you have irrefutable proof, I'll not have the staff behaving in such a manner here.
This is your business, Doctor, not mine. But I swear one of the nurses is cavorting with some man on hospital hours.
Thank you for your time, Miss Jones. You've
Chissà chi
given me
è.
something to go on. See you on the next round. The patients and staff might know something. I'll start my investigation with them.
Allora. Ah, posso loccare comunque.
Good evening, Milton.
Good evening, Doctor. Still
Madonna,
trying to save lives.
che bella cosa.
Have you heard of any underhand dealings going on in this hospital?
There are a lot of secrets round here. I'm not surprised someone tried to make money from them.
What kind of secrets?
I'm not in the gossip business, Dr. Reed. If you want to know more, you better talk to Harriet Jones. She's the oldest patient here.
Sarebbe molto
I
comodo.
have some
Peccato che
good
non si può.
news, Milton.
What? The epidemic's over?
I retrieved your wallet with all the money and...
Non so. Eccomi qua, perdonatemi, devo sentire un audio. Sai quale si potesse? Beh, non mi pare, però...
and a certain picture.
Well, yeah, Pippa Hawkins is my girl. So what? Is it the difference of skin colour that bothers you?
Not at all, Milton.
Good. Please, take this money anyway, to remind you to keep your mouth shut.
Quindi si va su entrambi. E già ho Pippa Hawkins con il massimo, con un livello però di 3.
Not everybody is as broad-minded as you, Dr. Reed.
No, per 40 scellini però devo un
Goodbye,
pezzo di merda. Dorothy Crane, Benedict Brannigan. So parlare.
Good evening, Nurse Brannigan.
Good evening, Doctor.
Do you know if any of the hospital staff have criminal backgrounds?
The people who work here all come from very different backgrounds, Doctor.
La domanda è
Just
diversa.
like the patients.
Have you seen a strange man visiting any of the nurses here?
I've never heard of such a thing, Doctor.
Goodbye, nurse. Call me if you need assistance.
Subito. Dove ti crei nessuno sempre sulla sinistra, immagino. Di qua o quindi su di qua, andiamo sulla sinistra. Adoro ti crei. Che cazzo è Dorothy? Ah, sta fuori. Ho capito dov'è. Corri! Jonathan qua giù, papara, prima che ti prende l'influenza spagnola, papara. Ringa se tutto proprio butto in culo.
You're sure you don't come back with me?
Nah, I ought to see someone at the hospital.
Be careful. You look so bad they may keep you as a patient.
Fuck 'em. I don't like hospitals or doctors.
Well then, when you go back to Whitechapel, you may find this useful.
What is it?
A pass for a free medical exam by the best nurse available. Just read it.
I don't read well, but thank you, I guess.
È onesto. Nelle fogne. Finché nelle fogne si va, lasciaci andare. Come intendi, Chiara? Siamo nelle fogne. Oh, così mi va benissimo.
This man has been savagely attacked and dragged to the floor.
Ole. Questo qui non ha fatto una gran bella fine, Aspettate, vengo a leggere il commento. Le fogne, sì, esatto. Cosa stai facendo? Sto usando il pavimento, coglione di me. C'è un'arma qui. Avrò un movimento tutto. Allora, c'è un bel mozzo. Il bastone spinato comune, che bei ricordi, signori. Cazzo guardi. Cazzo guardi. Ti azzardare. Non vedi a questo. Chiaro, riempiono di loot, Le botte, esatto. Bene, vedete questo qui sta prendendo nel buco del cu. C'è un cittadino da salvare. Vieni qua, bello mio. Guarda che magia è tradattata. Bello io.
Are you injured, sir?
Help me get out of here. I need to get out.
I'm Dr. Reed, and I'd be glad to help you, but you must calm down first. Please, take a deep breath and tell me your name.
Okay, Okay, I'm Oswald Thatcher. Please, I need to get out.
All right, Mr. Thatcher, you're safe now. Do you think you can reach the street by yourself?
Yes, yes I do.
Good. Now leave this place and enjoy the cool night air. It's quite invigorating. I'm sure you'll feel better if you do.
Okay. No!
Are you sure you're all right, sir?
Yes. Yes, I'll be... as soon as I can see the sky again.
Questo volevo fare. No? Da qua. Uscita. Uscita. Ok. Venga a scopare qua. Un topo!
This is
despicable. Despicable. Mi sembra che... in teoria abbiamo preso proprio tutti da quella parte lì. No, questo qui arriva solamente dopo, sì, abbiamo visti tutti, mo. Tutti li abbiamo visti. Boss fight.
What sort of creature is this?
Cosa mattarlo. Ragazzi.
Here's what's left of him. Not a lot to check, but I should anyway.
Ragazzi.
Some voucher for a free checkup in Whitechapel. What is Nurse Crane up to? I really must find her.
Però vediamo una cosa. Quindi qui si vedeva solamente l'anticipazione in pratica, giusto? Sì, anticipazione della boss fight. Ciao. A werewolf, almost. We open this door, motherfucker. 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 Allora, ho aggiunto una difficoltà in più al mio giocare. Mi sono messo una bottiglia d'acqua in testa e non devo farla cadere. Sarà difficile. Quando ci proviamo, signori. Vediamo un po'. Ecco, leggere i messaggi sarà molto difficile con questa bottiglia in testa. È strano. Forse magari è quello con Dorothy, ma non so. È caduta. Che palle. Che sono? Beh, la bettina la possono ancora tirare, è ancora alle 11. Questo qui, bene, è spawnato. Questo qui spawna solamente quando salvi il primo, quello lì che abbiamo appena salvato. Perché è amico di Oswald Thatcher.
Please, sir. I need help bad.
What's going on?
I'm Blight, sir. Newton Blight.
Forse avevi
I've
ragione.
lost my mate. Can't find him anywhere.
I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed from the Pembroke Hospital. Please, calm down and give me more details.
Oswald and myself were both infantry, sir. We were en route for the hospital, but we had a disagreement. And Oswald ran off towards the canal.
How long have you been searching for him?
I can't go there. Too many rats by the water. Fucking rats. Can't stand them since the war, sir. Can't stand them at all.
Don't be ashamed, Mr. Blight. Many soldiers who survived the trenches suffer from musophobia. I'll see what I can do for your friend. What can you tell me about your friend?
His name is Oswald Thatcher. We survived the war together. Oswald is nervous and quite fragile since we came back from the war.
Where was your friend the last time you saw him?
He went down by the canal. He didn't want to go to the hospital. I think he went to the sewers on purpose. So I couldn't go after him.
I have all the information I need for now. If I find anything out about your friend, I'll let you know as soon as I can.
Thank you, Dr. Reed.
Right. Allora. Diamo priorità alla missione. La farmacia quanto è lontana? Troppo. Si trova zona del porto. Andremo una questa che ci farà andare in zona del porto, la faremo. Adesso non è priorità. Perfetto. Vamonos. Qui c'è lo Skull. È un 18, signori. No, non va bene questa cosa. Non va per niente bene questa cosa. Possiamo continuare che è un nemico speciale, va, però minchia. Così no, se sono tutti livelli 18 devo andare per forza a livellare, non posso tenermi sangue volatile. Vabbè. Vediamo un po', diamo un'occhiatina. Perché non vorrei essere costretto. Tu dimmi che livello sei, ti prego, prima che ti... Dimmi che livello sei. Livello 11, ok. 10, 11, 12. Ha tirato una granata. Bella. Bella Marco. Tutto bene? Inizia a seguire anche tu su Vampyr. Vieni a giocare anche tu su Vampyr. Devi scaricartelo, un gioco della Madonna. Rifugio? Zona di loot? Zona di loot. Ah sì, perfetto. Aspetta. Non l'ho visto. Allora, vediamo un po', dai. 5 metri sulla mia destra. Ci si può fare? Ci si può fare, ci si può fare. Oh raga, ciao. No, c'è un altro. Merda. C'è un mini boss. E ho sbagliato strada, perfetto. Sbloccati telefono. Vamos, dai. Facciamoci la strada giusta, perché ci conviene farla adesso, sto boss, vai. Nascondiglio sbloccato. Ottimo. A sto punto approfitto anche per fare un altro farmaco per la stanchezza. In teoria dovrei avere i materiali. Ce li ho. Sono altri con me, sono buggato con me. Bastardo. Vedete, si sono buggati i commenti, quindi mi dispiace, ma non so se riuscirò a leggerli. Vedete un secondo, vi devo dire se sono davvero buggati. Un secondo. Sì, sono davvero buggati. Perfetto. Non mi compaiono più. Meraviglia. TV si vuole anche spegnere. Scatolo di pillole è ottima. La porta è un po' particolare. Oh. Particolare, signori. Qui siamo mai entrati? No dai, che palle quando mi si buggano i commenti. Ah, ok, perfetto. Sì, esatto, devo chiudere le aprire la chat, infatti l'ho fatto. Ma è entrato qui, eh? Mai. Cadogan. Ah, minchia, che culo di merda abbiamo avuto, ragazzi. Abbiamo ufficialmente avuto il culo della Madonna. La ripetizione. Cadogan Blitz. È attaccato dagli scali vendicativi che aveva sfruttato quando erano i suoi inquilini. Ah, vedi? Un po' stronzo. Vedete, allora ce la prendiamo con calma. Ok, ma adesso la vita si dovrebbe rigenerare automaticamente. Non tutta, però almeno una parte. Parliamo con l'uomo tra poco. Buono. Siamo ufficialmente ben forniti, signori.
What happened? Who are you?
It's all right, sir. You're safe now.
Oh, a fellow Englishman. Thank you, sir. For a moment, I thought those bloody heathens had killed me.
What are you doing here? This place is not safe.
Yeah, it's a cesspool, but it's mine. I came to collect some overdue rent, but those who still live here have gone completely bonkers.
You're very lucky to be alive.
Yeah, filthy immigrants. Fucking savages, every one of them. And now with this bloody fever, they're just animals.
You can find safety of sorts in Whitechapel. If you're quick and cautious, you'll be able to avoid the savages.
Io ci avrei anche aggiunto uno sfigato di merda.
I need someone who can read this. You had better return to Whitechapel without delay. It will be safer there.
Safety isn't really an issue in Whitechapel, because you never are. Never have been. The old place is falling to pieces. But thank you for the advice, sir.
Prego. Visto, facciamo anche i buon samaritani, amici. Sì, sì, sì. Ah. Sì, bisogna andare da un personaggio di Whitechapel in pratica. Di quelli che sono veramente inculati nel pianeta. Da lui bisogna andare. E bisogna dare tutti i tomi. Poi cosa ti dà? Una ceppa de cazzo. Esatto, da una ceppa de cazzo. Una gran bella ceppa de cazzo però. Già, molto triste. Ok. Ecco, finalmente possiamo andare. Vamos. Continuiamo allegramente la nostra scampagnata. Shortcut.
This is no place for you, sir.
Ok. Ah. Ma non è una shortcut. No? No. Un po' qualcos'altro? Niente. Meraviglia. Ah, qui c'era moltissimo loot. E anche di alta qualità. Munizioni. Molte munizioni. Aperto del più viene usato. Ok. Ok, bisogna utilizzare questo al posto del paletto usato. Ovviamente è molto più performante, possiamo dire. Il macete è per ora l'arma che ci costringe ancora a rimanere con i piedi per terra, quindi utilizzeremo le armi a due mani. Facendo questa specie di combinazione qui, perché sarà la cosa più utile che ci rimane. Ok, possiamo avanzare. Comunque avere una base su sto gioco qua è una cosa fondamentale, perché adesso io veramente so cosa devo fare, cosa che io non sapevo quando ero in momenti di difficoltà, sinceramente. Sapendo come il gioco inizia e come finisce, so come gestire ogni variabile. Questa è una grande cosa, sinceramente. Ciao Scam. Ci conviene anche attaccare qualsiasi forma di vita. Ci conviene. Ma qui vedo sempre vabbè. Con triangolo si può perriare. Dove sta un attimo l'orecchio? Ah, che goduria. Ah, yeah. Piccola cura. Allora. I tried so hard and got so far, but in the end... Dei scellini. Così faceva giusto, but in the end dei scellini. Sì sì, dovrei fare proprio così. Siamo ufficialmente a Whitechapel.
This neighborhood is linked somehow to the kind Lady Ashbury's blackmail. First, let's find this Petrescu fellow.
Che culo di merda, ci ho fatto poco caso. Devo chiudere e riaprire la chat dal vivo. Cazzo è saltato, no? Come è saltato? Questo si vede? Madonna.
Are you all right?
The bastard hit the wall next to me. I don't even know if he meant to miss.
If you've been hurt, I can help you. I'm a doctor.
Name's Albert. Remember it. Now bugger off.
I found the recruiter you were expecting. He's dead, but he carried a note. The Wet Boot Boys have accepted your application.
I knew it! I told you I was tough enough. I'll be free soon.
You're being manipulated by these criminals. What's worse
Ti
is
fai,
that you're
non dai.
clever enough
Vabbè.
to know better.
You're all fancy words, none of which concern me. Go worry about someone else. I'm fine and I have a future here.
Dubido.
Do you know Nurse Dorothy Crane from the Pembroke Hospital? If you know anything about her, I'd appreciate it.
Never heard of her. She's pretty, I'll keep an eye out.
Non è male. Ok, non posso chiedergli un cazzo di niente.
What happened? Did you really steal that man's medication?
Hey, I didn't do anything, it ain't me.
Medication and drugs are a rare commodity in East London. So you picked an easy target, didn't you?
Sod off, mister. You ain't got no clue what's going on here. Bastard was a soldier in the war, so now he's got the right to shoot me.
It's true. I'm not familiar with this part of town. Perhaps you could help me.
I said sod off. Go find yourself another guide.
Potrei pagarti, tipo, ah ok, allora va bene. Adesso non devo più. Hai la stanghezza e te lavoro io.
I'm not your boy, all right? Now piss off.
Do you need assistance?
Please. Feeling tired these days.
There you go. Let's hope nobody steals it from you.
Very funny.
Goodbye, young man.
Boots will be proud of me.
What?
Shooting a boy in the middle of the street. Not the best thing to do, wouldn't you say?
What? You saw what happened? Who are you?
I'm Dr. Reed, and I'd like to ask you a few questions.
Ma è
If
brutto
you promise
sto.
me to set your gun aside.
No. Look, I'm not a violent man. I'm Benjamin Palmer, doctor. And no one can help me. Not even you.
Oh.
What is it, Benjamin? It was the war, wasn't it? Your nerves are shot, aren't they? I need some answers, Private. From one soldier to another.
The doctors called me a liar. A coward. Put me in a straitjacket, locked me up. Finally, they sent me back to the front lines with a handful of tablets.
Sì, è qualcosa di particolare, vediamo se te ne sei accorta.
What about those we left behind, face down in the mud? You want to change places with them? You cannot waste your chance at life this way.
It's not that simple. I wouldn't have expected you to understand. I don't even know why I spoke to you in the first place.
No. Vabbè.
Whatever the boy did, I'm sure he didn't deserve a public execution.
I swear I didn't want to hit him. It's just that I'm sick in the head, you see, and the boy just failed me last
Cosa,
night.
Chiara, cosa hai notato?
Perhaps you could focus for a moment and tell me your troubles.
I'm sick, broken. My son just stole my pills. Everything's coming up roses.
What can you tell me about this place?
Nothing to say, really. This is where I used to live, and this is where I live now.
You mean you used to have a better life?
Yeah, I had a wife, a home, and a job. I even used to have a name. Now I'm just Ben. Ben the Tramp.
You don't have anywhere to go? No family that would welcome you?
Not since the death of my wife, Albert's mother. She was sick, you see. Long before the flu and all this shit.
Non c'era niente di sangue agli occhi.
Do you know Nurse Dorothy Crane from the Pembroke Hospital? Have you heard anything?
It's funny, I've been searching for her too. I need some pills. But the woman is a phantom, if you ask me.
Really? And why is that?
Word is she ain't real. She's a cover for some doctor who runs an illegal dispensary for migrants.
Okay.
A gun, alcohol, and a bad temper make a terrible cocktail, sir. Goodbye for now.
Quando ci rivedremo sul tavolo dell'obitorio, non so, decida lei. Ce la ricorderemo tutti.
Good evening, miss.
Good evening, sir. Are you interested in a miraculous cure for
Ovviamente
this
un palliativo
unknown deadly
inutile.
epidemic?
Spoiler.
Actually, I am.
Then you have come to the right place. The famous Swanborough cordial is all you need to help keep you in perfect health.
Oh, really? Why didn't I hear about it during my studies? I'm Jonathan Reed, by the way. Dr. Jonathan Reed.
Ah, my brother has spoken of your research, sir. I'm Loretta Swanborough, and it's always a pleasure to meet a fellow healer.
Do you know Nurse Dorothy Crane from the Pembroke Hospital? I'd like to know more about her.
I don't like to talk about competition.
Competition, you say?
Never met her, but it seems she provides some sort of medical care to the poor. The whole thing has to be some sort of scam, if you ask me.
Hai capito?
Tell me, who intrigues you most in Whitechapel?
The region itself is something to see, but I would say Camellia the mute florist who gives away her flowers.
Is there anyone I should avoid?
Cadogan Bates, without a doubt. The bloody bastard
Che
remorselessly
fidacalo.
exploits poor
Non so che
migrants
sia.
as soon as they get here.
What do you think of the locals?
Most of them are afraid or desperate. They all come to me eventually for my remedy.
I'd like to see what kind of medicine you're selling.
Beh, niente che ci interessa in realtà.
When science fails you, this elixir will give you faith again.
Non andiamo subito da Petrescu, non avrebbe senso andare subito da lui. No, questa è zona di combattimento. Andare di qua e poi di nuovo a sinistra.
Come on, we can sort it out, right?
It's not my call, Barrett.
Welcome, sir. Please, take a browse of my wares.
I am Dr. Reed. I would like to ask you a few questions, if you don't mind.
Doctor? Interesting. I'm Barrett Lewis. Usually I don't have time to waste with talk, but at this hour of the night I can hardly refuse.
How is business around here?
Business? I have no business. Between this racket, theft, and customers getting scared, I'm losing money every day.
I see. Sounds like you blame someone in particular for your situation.
It's no secret Joe Peterson spends his time harassing merchants. But with me, he's trying to put me out of business once and for all.
Questo caro Barrett.
As a merchant, you see Whitechapel every day. Have you noticed anything out of the ordinary recently?
What you mean besides the epidemic, the war, and all the usual crap? As long as I can remember, this part of town has been a bottomless pit, and no sign of the bottom yet.
Have you been hurt?
No, but that's only because I ran like hell. Those men were raving lunatics, I tell you. Not even able to speak anymore, just screaming.
Violence is increasing in the borough.
Yeah. A few nights ago, some blokes jumped me. Came out of one of the condemned workshops. Fever, madness, something like that.
Where did this happen? Why did you go there?
In the closed workshops nearby. I worked there as an apprentice in better days. Now I only go to find trinkets or tools. Too bad I was mugged, though. There was good money in that little box of loot I lost.
Questa è una buona secondaria.
Have you heard of a nurse called Dorothy Crane?
Nurse Crane? So the bitch really is a nurse, then? Always thought she was just some crafty foreigner, that one.
Yes, she's a nurse, and quite a good one. What did she do to gain such notoriety?
Dorothy Crane ain't even a real name. Something like Dorothea Craniu. Something like that. Came to England fleeing the war, I was told.
That doesn't explain why she irritates you so much.
Your precious Nurse Crane gives away medical supplies and prescriptions for free. I offered to sell it for a fair cut, but no. Miss Crane wanted to play the quiet saint.
Right then. Show me what you have.
Praticamente qui ci servirebbe un po' tutto, però in teoria queste qui sono le cose che ci servono veramente. No! Vabbè, comunque non ci dobbiamo più parlare, dobbiamo andare a parlare con sto ricchione.
Excuse me, sir.
Eccolo qui, guarda che belle orecchie che c'ha, raga, no, raga. Perché c'ha le orecchie più grandi di ogni personaggio. Dai, dovete viste le orecchie così grosse?
It's quite a rare breed in this part of town.
Really?
Però, sai che il ricchiere non si può proprio attribuire per bene. E dai, come si può dire una persona che ha le grandi orecchie? Non posso dire le facce, sono totalmente diverso dal concetto umano. Che c'è una bella orecchia sto, guardate là, guardate. Cioè è enorme, ma solo io lo noto che c'ha una cazzo di orecchio enorme, guarda.
How did you become the local bully everyone is afraid of, Joe?
No,
no pride in roughing up poor bastards.
Non mi soddisfa.
But this is the only job I've found. And it pays well too.
A job? So you're racketeering for someone else?
I got enlisted by the Wet Boot Boys, a gang from the docks. I'm their muscle for their dirty work.
Most people don't become thugs when unemployed. This is a choice you made.
I don't care what you think, sir. I do what I have to do for my own reasons, and that's that.
I'm not sure Mr. Lewis would agree with your by all means necessary philosophy, sir.
Oh, do you really think he's the
Come
poor
si sente
victim
un
here?
eco.
Barrett can be as sneaky as anyone. Long ago, I even called the bastard my best friend.
Non so di avere il volume basso del telefono. Errore. Scusate.
According to you, physicians are scarce in this part of town. Why is that?
Not familiar with this neighborhood, are you? I guess your fancy colleagues are too afraid of being stabbed in the back.
This part of town does have quite a reputation. Would you say it's justified?
Totally. Look at me, for instance. I always look my opponent in the eye before knocking him out.
Ow.
May I ask what you do around here?
I do whatever I want, and sometimes even more. Now sod off.
Il ciobballo io dipendo di arrecetto come cazzo mi pare, capito? Sto ricoglione di
Goodbye,
merda.
Mr. Peterson.
Andiamo a rompere il cazzo al figlio.
Hello, young man. I'm Dr. Reed, and I would like to ask you a few questions. May I enter, please?
Sorry, no, sir. My father does not like people entering our house, you see.
Your father is worried about you, boy. He asked me to look for you.
So my father actually worries about me then? Okay. Come on in. I'm Harry, by the way. Even my dreams are soaked with gloom.
So, may I ask you a few questions?
I'm not bothered. What could be worse?
Your father and Mr. Lewis used to be good friends. What happened, Harry?
I was young then. I don't remember Mr. Lewis ever coming back again after my mother died. Or was it after my father started bullying him? I don't know.
But you are not responsible for your father's actions.
Am I not? Dad always says that he joined that gang for my safety. So if I wasn't born, people wouldn't be worrying about Colossus Joe.
Have you tried speaking to Mr. Lewis about it?
I don't go out often, but yes. And he scolded me and told me to leave him alone. I guess my father frightens him too much.
How do you feel?
I'm fine. I mean, it's not easy every day, but I'm fine. I'm just tired of being sick all the time. If only I could be tough, like... Well, you know.
Speaking of... What can you tell me about your father?
My father is an idiot who makes idiot things. That's all I have to say.
Forgive my bluntness, young man, but you don't seem happy living in Whitechapel.
Why should I? I never wanted to come here in the first place. It was my father's decision. And look around you. Does this look like a nice place to live?
This place is awful, I agree. But does that not mean your situation can only improve?
That's exactly what my father says. Harry, you should be grateful for what you've got. But I wasn't even consulted when we moved here.
If life here is so terrible for you, why don't you just leave this place? Have you ever spoken to your father about it?
I don't go outside. It terrifies me so. I went outside once without my father noticing and I saw terrible things. Bloody and frightening things.
So that's why you stay at home all day? For fear of the epidemic?
I'm not afraid of disease or death, Dr. Reed. It's the living I'm afraid of.
Probabilmente la cosa più spaventosa è quella.
Do you know Nurse Dorothy Crane from the Pembroke Hospital? I'd like to know more about her.
Yes, I know her. She came here to examine me when I was very sick. She said I should go out more.
Goodbye, young man. Take care of yourself.
Is there only pain and suffering in this world?
Adesso vi prendo casa. Che bella questa luce di questo camino.
It's locked, all right.
Ok.
Is there only pain and suffering in this world?
No, però in questa parte della città soprattutto questo ci sta.
Forgive my interruption.
Do not apologize, my son. Father Tobias Whitaker is always happy to teach mortals about the incoming Armageddon.
I am Dr. Jonathan Reed, and I just have a few questions.
A scientist?
Lo ammazzeremo.
More lost than I thought, my son.
5. Alla fine del gioco ti ammazzeremo.
Have you any friends? Any family left in these terrible times?
No. But I have a disciple I see as my son. He is so devoted. I sent him to preach the good word in the heart of this corrupted city.
Where did you send him?
I sent Samuel to the Stonebridge Cemetery, where the pestilence and evil grows night after night.
Ci vendrebbe, ma questo qui è un coglione.
You sent him on some preaching crusade during the epidemic.
As a true believer, Samuel will fear no evil while he walks through the valley of the shadow of death.
Through the valley of the shadows of death.
What do you mean when you
Boom,
say that I
ceffone
am
in
more
faccia.
lost than you thought?
All scientists are entangled in a world of causes and consequences, and most of them can't see the plain truth.
Quite a judgmental opinion, if you ask me. But what do I know? Blinded by science as I am.
But you are seeking answers, aren't you? Answers about the Armageddon about to strike the city. Answers about the hidden truth.
Well, I suppose I can spare a few minutes listening to your so-called truth.
As a doctor, you must be aware of the decimating epidemic. But let me tell you that this so-called Spanish flu is just the beginning of the end.
What do you mean?
The beast is finally revealing itself, corrupting the flesh and the heart of men. With my own eyes I have seen them, those minions from the abyss.
Ok, basta.
I have heard enough. Goodbye.
Grazie, ma basta stronzate, sinceramente. Peppa, no, secondo me, Poppa.
Don't
Poppa?
be shy,
No,
handsome.
Cristina.
What can Christina do for you?
I'm not looking for what you're selling. But I'd like to ask you a few questions, if I may. I'm a doctor. Dr. Reed.
All right then, but be quick, though I usually get paid when I open my mouth.
Grazie per l'informazione, non era veramente dovuta, però vabbè.
Tell me about yourself.
Are you joking with me? People don't usually come to see me for conversation.
I have no interest in your work. I am, however, curious as to what led you into this career.
Short story. The war, exile, and England. This country is not especially welcoming. I've been refused many jobs because of where I am from. I had few options left.
I always thought I was the master of my own fate. But now I know we don't always have control over our lives. I don't judge you.
You know, this money is not only for me. I have good reasons to need this money quickly. But it is not your concern, Doctor.
Christina, have you been examined? The epidemic is spreading fast in London, and you could be exposed. or expose others.
I don't like doctors or hospitals, but I don't like you asking questions.
Considering your line of work, I assure you it is only a matter of time before you have health issues.
If it is going to happen, it will happen. Right now, I need money. That's what's important.
You can put your own life in danger, that's your decision. But what about your clients? If you're contaminated, you will put them in danger too.
And you think that would worry me? If you knew the men I deal with, their health would not be what you'd worry about.
Do you know Nurse Dorothy Crane from the Pembroke Hospital? Anything you can tell me about her would be helpful.
I don't know her, but I know her name is Dorothea Crăciunescu. She came from Romania like me and many others.
You seem to respect her.
Dorothea helps the sick people of Whitechapel. Everyone should respect that.
Goodbye, miss. Take care of yourself as best you can.
Questo è un bel pensiero. Otto, guarda.
Excuse me, sir. Are you familiar with this part of town? Name's Clayton Darby.
Clayton Darby.
Sorry, I'm new to Whitechapel. But perhaps you could help me since you're
Questo è un giornalista di fama.
My name is Jonathan Reed.
Dr. Reed.
Non ha fama.
A famous surgeon.
È affamato.
I'll actually help if I'm able, sir.
Questo è cattivo. Un indizio.
Have you any idea of the danger you face in these streets at night?
I've had to run and hide more than once from frenzied mobs incensed by the fever. Do you think the flu is really responsible for this, Doctor?
That science is unable to explain the facts doesn't mean there is no rational explanation.
I confess, I share your point of view, Doctor.
Why are the newspapers keeping silent about the Spanish influenza?
Per evitare il panico, anche se però la cosa è palese.
People shouldn't be demoralized by news of deadly diseases.
È logico.
I served in France. Our top priority must be to put an end to this butchery. This war must stop now.
Sir, streets are a battlefield too. An invisible and untold war is going on, and it must be stopped.
Sì, ma il punto è che una cosa alla volta.
He goes where none of his colleagues would dare to go, to inform the country.
That's quite honorable of you. But is the public interested?
Not at all, sir. And that's why I'm an independent journalist, hoping to sell some stories.
So you risk your life to reveal the truth. I saw many reporters do the same during the war.
Whitechapel is the crucible of so many untold stories and tragedies. I want people to know them.
Bel pensiero. E sono tutti quanti con un problema. La maggior parte tutti quanti con stanchezza e raffreddore. Sono con le mitranie. Ok.
Christina Popper claims she sells her body because she can't find any other work. Do you believe her?
Of course I do. Her story is exactly what I want my readers to understand. We live in an intolerant and divided nation.
Do you think things will ever change, Mr. Darby?
I believe the situation can only improve. And now that women can vote, I'm convinced things will change.
Che bello.
Goodbye, Mr. Darby. Farewell.
Adesso avremo la Camilla. Camilla. Che è qui in fondo. E non solo Camilla. Quindi dovrebbe esserci un altro merdone, eccolo lì.
Good evening.
Lei è una donna da poche parole.
I'm Dr. Reed. I'd like to ask you a few questions. I know what you're thinking.
Questo è un alto livello di dialogo, signori.
It reeks of the penny dreadfuls. But I mean you no harm, truly. I know you understand what I'm saying. Your silence has nothing to do with you being mute, does it? Very well. Goodbye then.
ci siamo espressi molto con lei. È stato uno scambio di battute veramente di qualità. Quando si ammazza. Minchia. Cazzo! Buon, senti a questo. Finisco che te mordo. Porta sigarette. Ottimo. Tutto di sti bastardi. Qui è impossibile passare. Adesso sto minchio non è la priorità. Questa è la priorità. Perfetto, adesso ci possiamo andare a parlare. Uè, senti, spiegato coglione, ecco qui.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reed. I would like to ask you a few questions.
Please be my guest. Although I may not be the best informant regarding this part of town, my words speak about that which the eyes cannot see.
Really? Are you an artist of some kind?
I'm a poet, sir. Richard Nethercott, at your service.
Tell me, Mr. Nethercott, why seek inspiration in Whitechapel?
The place is not beautiful per se, but how to explain it? Stirring and challenging.
In what way, exactly?
The struggle by gaslight, the barren smiles and the added hunger under the rain.
If you say so.
Such vibrant antagonism and vivid paradox, the stripped humanity raged across each street.
Vivid, of course, yes. And what about the poignant distress?
Oh yes, the poignant distress. You see what I mean, don't you? That's what I want to write about, and that's what Whitechapel is made of.
Do you not think it a little morbid?
On the contrary, sir. Whitechapel is full of life, full of beauty. Just like my dear muse, the wonderful Camellia.
What can you tell me about Camellia?
Not much. And that's the beauty of it. She can't speak, you know. She's a locked mystery who exhales kindness and sweetness.
Oh, baby.
Perhaps you're just afraid to find out the truth about...
One day, perhaps, I'll ask her to come with me. But will she still be my wild flower of Whitechapel if she moves uptown?
And have you ever tried to learn more about her? Where she lives? How she survives? Whom she may know?
Maybe I prefer she remains an enigma. Reality can be so dull, don't you think?
Non ha torto, però manco tanto ragione.
What are your thoughts on the terrible situation in the city?
Terrible, you say? No. Of course, the death of so many innocents is a tragedy. But the scourge has not been all bad for the city. Oh, no, sir.
What are you talking about?
Do you remember London before the flu? Noisy, cacophonic, quiet nowhere to be found. And now, listen to this oddly peaceful silence.
Che bella parola.
Yes. The enjoyable silence of the grave. You have a unique perspective on the situation, I must admit.
Most people fail to understand my perspective. I don't blame them. But how could I call myself a poet if I veiled my feelings?
May I ask what you're doing at this hour of night, sir? Do you live here?
Not at all. I'm just enjoying the pleasure of a quiet walk. Though night talks are always preferable, if you ask me. Especially with strangers.
Tutto è mio in questo momento.
If you say so. But as a physician in a time of epidemic, I must caution you to avoid unnecessary exposure, sir.
Thank you, Doctor. But we both know the seeker of truth has to go boldly where the weak dare not.
But are you not afraid of the epidemic?
Oh, why should I? I see some equity in the Spanish flu. No flesh should be saved, say the scriptures. Good or evil, rich or poor, all are equal in the eyes of the flu.
But
are you aware that your life could be in danger in this part of town?
But this is where I must be to feel the real beat of the city. I had to come, see it for myself, alone.
If some misfortune came upon you, who would be here to help you?
Well, you for a start, my dear doctor.
Ok, risposta legittima.
I understand your need for solitude, but it's not safe around here.
I don't care. I don't have many friends, Doctor, and my family despises me.
Bella spiega. Okay.
I'll leave you alone, sir.
Allora, per comodità dovrei arrivare anche qui. Però questo sarebbe per comodità. Non voglio rischiare ancora, andremo al cimitero per la missione di Mary. Tanto non è ancora priorità la nostra. Allora, di personaggi a Whitechapel ne mancano pochi. Il fratello che so dov'è, Petrescu che scopriamo tra poco e la signorina che sta al cimitero. Perfetto. La signorina cinese, quella lì che ci ha fatto la prima moglie che ci avevo sclerato contro. In più qui dovrebbe esserci il rifugio, mi dovrebbe già sbloccare. Non è qua, però che cazzo c'è? Ah, qui si può fare qualcosa di importante allora.
It's locked, all right.
E devo scendere qua allora. Vroom. Allora, ci appropriamo del nascondiglio, perché è una delle cose più comode che si possono avere in Whitechapel. Ok. Comunque sempre conviene lottare ogni cosa. No. Allora. Emicrani. Lo posso shoppare. Niente revolver migliorato, il periodo in così non lo ancora miglioriamo. Ok. È di qua? Ah, sì, è di qua. Aia. Ora. Fra poco andremo anche a riciclare gli oggetti. C'è un botto di roba con il riciclamento. Non si può dire. Facciamo il compostaggio. Madonna. Che schifo le ore di scienza alle medie. Quante che schifo. Non mi ricordo mezza lezione delle lezioni di scienza alle medie. Veramente mezza lezione. Che schifo. Che schifo, madonna. No, invece a me no, vedo impartire la cosa a memoria ed era molto molto triste. Chissà anche Dem se odiava le lezioni di scienza alle medie. Se odia magari ancora qualche lezione. Se odia ancora studiare. Penso che quello però nessuno non smette mai di odiare. No, brutto sto posto. Ok, andiamo a curare un po' di gente con la stanchezza. E cercano di imbeccare la gente con le emicranie. Ma vaffanculo Benjamin, spero che tu muoia di emicranie.
When science fails you.
Ah, dai, veramente.
What do you want? Leave me alone.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reed. I'm looking for Nurse Dorothy Crane.
There is no Dorothy Crane here. Now goodbye.
I'm afraid this medical leaflet says the opposite, sir.
Really? Well, I'm afraid I'm going to close this door right now. Go bother someone else, Mr. Doctor.
To enter that house, I must discover who this man really is. Maybe I could start by observing what he's up to.
A strange man was at the door with a pass for our medical facility. I refused him entry.
Darius, how could you know he didn't need our help?
His clothes were too finely tailored to be for Whitechapel.
Perhaps just a friend of that stray poet who is always about.
Richard Nithercott? No, not of the same cloth, this man. I suspect some machination from that journalist.
Clayton Darby. Is he still asking questions?
Yes. I saw him drifting around St. Mary's Church. I swear he is tracking me just downwind.
I must talk to that journalist or the poet. They must know about Darius. Nearby the church they just mentioned.
La stanchezza? Vieni qua.
Good evening, Christina.
Change your mind, Mr. Reed?
Do you need any assistance, Miss Popper?
It depends on the price of your medicine.
I am shocked that you would think I am that sort of man.
Forgive my suspicion. I'm so used to liars with good manners. Thank you, sir.
Goodbye, miss. Take care of yourself as best you can.
Io la run da buona persona la farò con tutto il cuore, ragazzi. Cioè, non avete idea. Cioè, io questa qui la run che devo fare da cattivo. E vi giuro che non riesco nemmeno a pensare che devo ucciderli tutti. Cioè, non me la sento proprio. C'è una cosa incredibile.
So, May I ask you a few questions?
I'm not bothered. What could be worse?
Do you need any medical help, young man?
Yes, I do. I feel so tired. I don't know if it's the epidemic, but everything seems so hard.
You'll feel better with this. But you need to get a grip, young man. Medication alone won't cure melancholia.
I'm not sure I'm happy with the idea of living long in a world like this. But I thank you for your concern, sir.
Scusate, mi sono un attimo distratto.
Would it ease tensions with your father if he got an honest job? Because he tried, you know.
I can't say. I'd be glad if he dropped his thuggish activities. But I'm not sure it would be enough.
Why is that?
Sometimes I suspect it's me, Dr. Reed. Or it's this life. It's like I can't find my place.
Vabbè.
Goodbye, young man. Take care of yourself.
Is there only pain and suffering in this world?
Even now, he judges your
Good evening, Doctor. Can I help you?
I heard you're investigating an underground medical dispensary in Whitechapel. What do you know about it?
Not much, I'm afraid. They are wary of strangers, and I'm not really an acquaintance of theirs. Why do you care?
I'm afraid one of the nurses from the Pembroke Hospital may be involved with unsavory activities.
Ah, could it be Dorothy Crane?
Without a doubt, you are a damn fine journalist, Mr. Darby. What do you know of her accomplice, a man named Darius?
I don't know much about the man. He's very cautious. Never goes out. Doesn't seem to have any friends or family.
He never goes out?
No. A few days ago, he unexpectedly did. I followed him, but it was just a ruse to keep me away from his house.
Really? How do you know?
He went to the nearest mailbox, but just before posting his letter, he ripped it up and threw it away.
Goodbye, Mr. Darby. Farewell.
L'ho curato, non gli ho dato la medicina, vero? Me lo sono dimenticato. Ma dove cazzo è andato a finire? Oh. Signor Darby, mi scusi. Sono dimenticato di lei.
Can I help you?
Do you need assistance?
That would be nice of you, Doctor. Who knows what I may have caught you in my investigation.
If you persist in investigating the most pox-ridden boroughs of London, you must accept the risks.
Thank you, sir.
Goodbye, Mr. Darby. Farewell. The content of Darius' letter to his children could give me more leverage to enter. Good evening, Mr. Nethercott.
And good evening to you too, my good sir. Can I be of any help?
Ok, cancello tutte le notifiche. Cancello 3000. Ok.
I'll leave you alone, sir. Good evening, Mr. Nethercott.
And good evening to you too, my good sir. Can I be of any help?
May I ask you a few questions about the district?
Extraordinary part of town, is it not? I'll be glad to help you, if I can.
What can you tell me about an old man called Darius.
Darius Petrescu? Yes, I know him. At first, I thought he was only a small publisher. I invited him to publish my work, but his reaction was pretty clear.
Not interested in your talent?
Darius is an old political activist who takes delight in printing tracts and lampoons. Those communist activities only require mediocre writing skills.
I'm looking for Dorothy Crane, a nurse who lives in this vicinity.
Dorothy Crane. Oh, I love the name. The Crane of Whitechapel. Sounds very mysterious. But, sorry, no, never heard of her.
I'll leave you alone, sir. Darius is a bit less of a mystery now. It should not be that difficult to incite him to let me in.
Come ci trovo?
Fancy buying something, sir?
You never lose your focus, do you? Right then. Show me what you have.
Ora. Su Camellia. Però non si può chiamare granché.
Mr. Petrescu, just 1 minute, please.
You again? Go away.
Sir, wait. Stop this nonsense. I know Nurse Crane is here. Shall we speak man to man, you and I?
All right. Speak up.
Don't you see we're on the same side? We fight to help the poor, sick, and abandoned.
I'm nothing like you, Mr. Doctor.
Yes, you are. You too believe in providing medical care without charge. You know what we have to sacrifice to make the world a better place.
I have to admit your words have conviction. All right, I'll let you see Dorothea. Don't make me regret this, though.
It's locked, all right.
Beh, gli potrò un attimo fornire buona parte delle cose, no?
If you want to talk to Dorothea, you must go across the courtyard and take the stairs.
We've not been formally introduced. May I ask your name and occupation, sir?
I am Darius Petrescu. I'm here to keep snitches and spies away from Dorothea. And I also run this little print shop.
How did you meet Nurse Crane, Darius? Why does she trust you?
I'm her oldest friend in England. Dorothea and I share many ideas about this country and about the country we left.
You mean occupied Romania, don't you? Even if not directly, I fought against your enemies.
Really? Then perhaps you have more in common with Dorothea than meets the eye, Dr. Reed.
I know you fought for your country when it was occupied, Darius. Tell me more about it.
I know my days are numbered, and I know I won't see my homeland again. But I fought for Romania all my life, and I will until my last breath.
But Romania escaped the grasp of the Austro-Hungarian Empire. It's a free country again.
But it's not the country I fought for. My homeland is not appeased, Doctor. But I still see a dark
Amore, per favore,
future ahead
commenta un
for my
attimo su... Cioè, mi esca un attimo su WhatsApp, per favore.
Do you have any family left, Mr. Petrescu? Children or grandchildren?
Who knows? I have abandoned my people for so long, they might as well be dead. As dead as I am for them, I suppose.
This war won't last forever. Did you ever think of returning to your country now it's free?
No. I have taught strength and determination to my sons and daughters. I'm an old, dying man who only has memories of better times to cherish.
Don't be embarrassed, sir. If you must know, my own father disappeared many years ago, and I forgave him.
It's quite awkward to talk about our families like this, but thank you, Dr. Reed. I appreciate your trust.
So Dorothy's real name is not Crane?
Like myself and many people in this area. Dorothea is from occupied Romania. That's all you need to know.
She seems important to the community.
More than you can imagine. The West End does not want to hear of Whitechapel's misery. Dorothea is one of the few doing something about it.
Oh. Goodbye, Mr. Petrescu.
Allora, penso che, signori, questa qui sarà l'ultima missione per adesso. Teniamo giusto questa di Dorothy e poi si va avanti. Ok. Guarda quanti potenziali scal. C'è un modo per evitare comunque. E lo eviteremo a sto giro. Va bene, gioco. Andate, datemi un secondo, datemi giusto un attimo, perdonatemi. Ho giusto controllato una cosa, perdonatemi. Metterò poco tempo. Perdonatemi, lo so, è colpa mia. Sì. Allora, non facciamo subito sta cosa, perché prima si fa un'altra cosa. Dato che voglio comunque evitare di fare bordelli principalmente.
Joe, please, I don't have your money. Well, there is no protection infection.
Good evening, Mr. Whitaker.
It's Father Whitaker, my son. So, are you still lost in your rational delusions?
Do you know Nurse Dorothy Crane from the Pembroke Hospital? I'd like to know more about her.
I don't like the liberal ideas of nurses, but I especially abhor that Nurse Crane you mentioned.
Why do you hate Nurse Crane more than other nurses?
Before coming to London, she was a member of the communist resistance in her country. That's what happens when you let a woman get involved in politics.
I have had enough for tonight. Goodbye.
Salveremo la vita della dottoressa Crane. Dell'infermiera Crane. Vamos.
Razvan, control yourself. Calm. I need help.
What do we have here, nurse?
Patient Razvan Vasily. High fever running on 3 days. Complaints of dizziness, muscle aches, and head pain. Diagnosed with influenza.
Treatment?
Aspirin and salicin for the fever and discomfort. Liquids for dehydration, but he's having trouble keeping even water down.
Thank you, nurse. Anything else I should know?
He did lose consciousness this morning, but he's never had convulsions like these.
He's not convulsing, he's choking. He's not getting any air. Scalpel! Hand me that scalpel!
What can I do, Doctor?
I need to perform a tracheostomy. Short pipe.
Guardatela,
Rubber
Chiara.
tube will do.
Guardatela.
We're going to cut a passage for
Perché alla fine ti faccio divertire. L'ultima cosa dovrai cogliere. Quindi guardala per bene.
Internal hemorrhaging. I need to make another incision into the chest cavity to drain the fluids from the lung. Prepare another tube.
A thoracostomy. Doctor, we've nothing to fight the infection. We need an aseptic environment.
Don't question me, nurse. I need a drain. Now.
Yes, Doctor. He's still bleeding, Doctor. I'm losing his pulse.
The drain must have punctured the intercostal artery. There's too much blood.
Are you all right, Doctor?
I can't see. I must first suture the artery. Find the wound. The source of the blood.
Needle and thread, Doctor.
Good. The stitches are holding. How's he doing?
We're losing him. We've lost his pulse. He's dying, Doctor.
Muoio.
Cardiac massage, now.
Cardiac... What? Are you making this up as you go along?
Massaggio cardiaco. Non mi dire che sta improvvisando. Comunque sarebbe morto in qualsiasi caso.
We've lost the pulse. He's gone, Doctor.
Nurse, we did everything we could.
Truly? Everything you could? Is that how you'll report this in your log? Is this how the war went? Piling up one poor corpse beside the next?
This was not an influenza-induced seizure. I've never seen symptoms like these on the continent.
No, non c'è, non esiste.
Neither have I. But the previous symptoms leading up to this attack were the same, indistinguishable from the epidemic.
L'ultima scelta migliore era quella di destra,
Something
però
more
comunque non si
vile in these
salvava.
reactions. Something primitive.
There have been numerous
No, hai
reports
detto che
of
c'era il
mental
miglior
breakdowns
caso, quello
caused by
più
the fever that
legittimo,
accompanies
perché
the
infatti
flu
io ho
itself,
scelto quella lì
Doctor.
più comica, comunque non si sarebbe salvato. Ho letto.
I'd best take some samples of the blood for
È quello che sono
analysis.
andato a controllare prima, 20 secondi fa, mentre non mi vedevate. Cioè, quando mi ero fermato e avevo messo in stop. Andato a controllare se c'era qualsiasi modo per o fare questa operazione oppure salvare Dorothy. Sì, può
Here to
salvare.
test my bedside manners. I suspect it was more than intuition alone that led you to us. So, how might I be of service, Dr. Reed?
I've come to put an end to this insufferable blackmailing, Dorothy.
Doctor, you think your warnings scare me? I've stolen and plied, blackmailed and lied, but what else am I to do? I'm all these people have.
But why Lady Ashbury? Why her, of all people?
She's pristine and proper, all right. But that she-wolf in sheep's clothing murders the poor for sport.
Sì, le correct surgery cose, ma non si salva, Chiara. È quello che ho visto, è inutile che me lo mandi, è quello che ho visto. Lei si può salvare, il tipo no.
Dr. Swansea is a sensible and honest man. He wouldn't have refused your friend's care at Pembroke.
It's easy for you to say, Doctor. These people cannot go to the police, nor to the hospital. They don't even speak English. They depend on me for everything.
So, the end justifies the means. Is that your defense?
I know you're kind, Doctor. Just another fine-heeled, silver-spooned gentleman who was given the world on a platter. You know nothing of poverty. Nothing of the shame, the hunger, the loneliness.
You've convinced me of the sincerity of your actions and their noble justifications. But all the same, blackmail is a crime, and it will stop, Nurse Crane.
So, are you going to turn me over to the authorities?
No. Your place is here. Jailing you would be an even greater crime. So, here is my proposition. I'll look the other way on your little enterprise. In exchange, you will resign from the Pembroke Hospital and provide me with medical supplies when the need arises.
Dr. Reed! That sounds like a business proposition. My accomplice, then?
No, just a privileged client. My research may require the occasional rare piece of equipment or ingredient. I'll pay good coin in exchange, fair and honest, to help finance your noble endeavors.
We have ourselves a deal, Doctor. Good customers are always welcome.
Yes, Nurse Crane. We have a deal. It's locked, all right.
Quelli sono scellini.
This one stinks already. Get them weapons ready! We found one! Watch yourselves! There's one of them! I'll kill it!
Sull'altro. Sì, adesso non facciamo tutto lui. Perfetto.
on, take a look. Don't be afraid.
Vampyr? Così, no, dai, veramente non l'hai letto, era bellissimo. Madonna. Ma quindi allora ci avete capito tu, Dem, perdonami. Hai capito il perché quando abbiamo detto messaggio cardiaco? Non so se perché sono io mi sa in live con te, non so se mi sa che abbiamo perso Dem. Comunque chiaro, hai capito perché ci ha guardato male quando abbiamo detto del massaggio cardiaco? Visto come è stata la sua reazione. Loot. Se te l'avevo detto. Però vederlo così è stato molto anche più divertente. Sì, infatti adesso stacco pure io. Do un attimo una migliorata al mio equipaggiamento. Non posso darlo. Anche se vorrei farlo. Sono rimasto male. Molto male. Farmaco per la stanchezza. Si livella. E poi si chiude. Perfetto. Benissimo. Signori, per oggi ci si ferma qui. Ci rivediamo al prossimo video. E ciao!